He'll stop and
crossover. Oh, killer crossover. Just crossover. It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Time for the crossover. It's brought to you by Everlow Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlowconcrete.com. I was telling Matt an interaction I had last night before the Nebraska basketball game of a guy I didn't meet. Hit me with a conversation starter that I think is fantastic.
Oh, okay.
Looks at me, points at me.
How about that weather?
No, which is very Midwestern.
Sure.
He goes, push button start or key in.
Ooh.
That was his introduction.
Now, are we talking preference or what do you have?
What do you have?
Gotta be what do you have?
I
yeah.
have a push button and I prefer a push button. I am of the new times. Welcome to the 21st century me. You might think, Connor Happer, that guy loves a key. He likes to turn it.
Sure.
I say, no, give me the button.
Poll question. Does Connor Happer love a key? Yes or no?
Would Connor Happer be the kind of guy who loves a turnkey ignition?
But it kind of caught me off guard. I'm like, I don't know you. We just met. But then I'm like, that's a great opening question.
It really is.
Because I was like,
sounds like,
push button.
So that they maybe Matt, you could speak to this. Is this an opener for like the apps?
This would be a great opener if you're meeting another guy. Like if you're at a bar
sure?
and you needed to meet more like dudes, like you're like me, like I'm in Omaha, like I need more friends. Like I
what do you think, man? You like a push button?
Yeah, I'd be like, hey, screw you.
No,
I think this is
I know. I'm just saying.
Talk like that.
No, that's not. I wasn't doing
imitating me.
I was not doing an impression
of you. Then why did you say it like that? Why did you say it like that?
That's a general
just
topic.
Always taking shots. Connor Happer just always you get in there and you become a comedian, right?
No.
You think you're so funny, you make laughs. You
I'm
know?
not doing that.
You don't say the jokes to Gary.
I'm not doing that. I just said it to Gary.
Yeah. We're jokey Smurfs.
Yeah.
It's fun. I would go up to a dude. I would go up to a dude and I'd be like, push button or turnkey. Yes. And I think he would laugh and I think we would become best friends.
Yeah. You just go around and
is
there some guy at the bar going around and asking everyone? You got to stop that, man.
Now, if I went up to a girl and I go, push button or turnkey, I think she'd be
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, you think it's about something else.
Yeah, you think the dirty mind in the gutter would think it's yeah.
See, I bet that's been used as a line on the apps.
I'm off. I deleted my apps.
Okay, well, I was gonna tell you to check it out
because he doesn't need to use them.
Do some research for us.
Deleted the apps.
Did you have to have a conversation with her?
Hey,
no,
is it time to delete my app?
Did you do it in front of her?
I did it before. Well, first off, nothing's official. All right,
but you did delete the apps.
But I did delete the apps in the. I'm just trying to avoid the potential situation where the apps may still be on the phone, and I might be scrolling and she might see the apps.
Of course.
So
self-preservation.
So the apps are gone. So I'm just I'm protecting myself from a potential argument or snark or anything like that.
Now
you're still on the app.
Did she get rid of the app?
I did not ask if she's gotten rid of the app.
Good. It's very adult of you.
Yeah. I'm like I said, we're not official and this wasn't like a thing where it's like we had to do it or anything like that. I just know that I don't need the apps right now. I don't need the apps and I don't want to get in the argument and I haven't even been on the apps in some time. So I'm like, you know what? Just to get it out of my mind and not worry about that being a potential hand grenade thrown into, what's cultivating.
Good job.
I deleted them.
Good job.
Would you feel comfortable enough with her going through your phone right now?
Yeah. I don't really have.
What about your weird Snapchat group chat?
Yeah. So what would constitute like going through my pictures, like I don't think anybody at any point, like
Asks.
now, like ask to go. No, but I just haven't. I haven't had other than 4 months in high school, I've never had a girlfriend, so I've never really had a reason for anyone to go through my phone and look at my photos. So yeah, maybe there might be some like incriminating stuff on my camera roll.
It's in the past.
I don't know. That's in the past.
It's in
but
the past.
I know. If to go through recent, I would feel 92% confident that nothing bad would happen if she were to go through my phone.
I was surprised you guys didn't like do it together. Like this is we're crossing over the threshold.
You should ask
Let's
her if she
delete
likes
the
to
apps
push
at the
button.
same time.
You ever think about asking her if she likes the push button?
I don't want.
Ask her after that if
I could text. Let me text her.
do you like a back windshield wiper?
See, that could be
that
taken the wrong
definitely
way.
sounds like you're
That
saying
could
something.
be taken out of context.
I love my back
yeah,
windshield
if I
wiper.
went up and said, "Hey, you like a back windshield wiper?" But that would be a weird thing
So,
to tell a girl.
Is that a
on the
move?
phone.
Is that an act?
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
I'm
Does that-
literally talking about
does
a
that
back
work-
windshield wiper.
Does that work on other girls? No, I did not ask her if she's removed the other apps. I'm confident. I'm very confident that I, probably don't need to ask if she's done that or anything like that. So yeah,
I agree. It should be a good couples
It's just-
activity. Like,
yeah.
hey, let's delete the app together.
Yeah.
I was just more so like, because my phone is always out, and I don't go like this. Like I go like that. Like with my phone is out. Okay, so if I'm texting, you could easily just peer over and look at my phone and see what I got there.
How
Right?
about do you like on the stereo, do you like a dial or do you like a knob where you kind of push it up and down? You like a touch screen or the buttons?
You like a bit.
You like rubber mats in the winter, or do you like to keep the felt ones in there?
when
You
I
like a
touch
big
buttons,
9-inch
typically
display?
typically when I touch buttons, the car gets hotter. So I would say buttons.
Okay.
I think I can control everything from my steering wheel in my car.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
I like to open up the hood. I'm not really a trunk guy.
All right.
Okay, we still.
You
No.
get it.
I'm really into headlights.
Both.
Really into headlights.
I wonder how many kids these days would know what to do with the car key. Because there's
What
a
do you-
lot
what
of
do you-
cars
what
that
do you
also have the
mean?
code. You don't
Yeah.
even need a key,
Yeah.
or it unlocks when you get the fob close to it.
The annoying one to me is when I've like back my car out of the driveway and then I need to like take the trash cans in, but the car is still on. And I get out of the car, my keys are in my pocket, and then my car will say,
Yes.
and it will be unrelenting for as long as for as long as you're not back in the car.
So
You got to put your keys in the cup holder.
I was
It's
telling
a whole nother thing.
I was telling Gary. So this is my key, right? And so my key is a push, right? I have a push, right? There's a battery in this key, but if the battery is dead, I have to take the key. I literally remove the push part and I insert the key and I turn it on that way. Okay, so it's a dual, right? Now I love the push way better. There was one time where the battery was dead and I didn't know it. Okay, and so I went to go and push, to turn the car on, and I didn't have my keys in my pocket. The keys were in the car, like they were just in the car. Okay. It said key not detected, right? Because the key's got to be in the general area of the car. So I thought, oh, okay, key's not detected. I have to go back inside and I have to go and look for my key. I looked for 45 minutes
and it was in
for
your
this
car.
key, and it was in my car the entire time because the battery had died.
Damn robots.
And it did not communicate me. It doesn't say battery dead. It just says key not detected. And it was the most annoying. I wasted like 45 minutes, like freaking out. And then my mom goes, "Did you check the car?" And I go, "No, I tried turning the car around and wouldn't turn on." She goes, "Go and check the car." So I went and checked the car and they were in the car.
There you go.
Don't you have don't you have an app that you can start your car remotely?
I do, Gary, and it is.
How great is that?
It is awesome. I don't have to worry about scraping nothing anymore. Like it's not even a consideration. I will, like, on the way out from basketball games.
Yeah.
I will just sit in the arena on the court in a chair, and I will start my car, and then I'll sit there for 5 more minutes, and then I will walk out to my car, and it'll be warm. And there won't be any scraping to do. There won't be any pushing of the snow off. It is fantastic. Everyone should have this.
What I would do. I don't. Mine's a 2016. So I don't have the luxury of, but yesterday walking to my car yesterday and getting in my car and there not being frost on my car was one of the best things ever. And I realized that it takes me about 8 minutes to get to work when I am driving in the frigid temperatures that we were facing. The last 2 days, it has taken me 4 minutes to get to work.
Your car goes faster.
Weather. No, I'm just less of a wuss. And I'm like, when I'm in the cold, I'm like shaking and I'm like, my foot is barely on the pedal. But like when I'm warm, I'm like, all right, I'm in ready. Yeah. Like I'm going.
Yeah. No, there's nothing in your way.
No.
At that point. No
like
ice.
at that, like, you know, when it's cold, I'm like, all right, I'll stay behind the bus that passes here at 5:45, you know, in order just for the car to warm up a little bit so I can get warmer heading in. When it's warm today, I go right around that bus. I don't care.
Whoa. You should always stay behind the.
It's not a yellow bus. It's not a yellow bus.
Right. You know, it's an orbit stop sign on the
side.
It's an
orbit bus.
Of course, it's an orbit bus.
You think there's a yellow bus going around Dodge at 5:45 in the morning?
I don't know where the yellow buses go.
Yeah, there is, because there's kids that are on this corner that are waiting for the bus at 6.
No. Okay. Maybe
Which
I'm wrong.
Seems really.
Did you ever take the school bus to school?
Yeah.
Yes.
You did?
Yeah.
I took the school bus.
I'm young. I ain't that young.
I'm not talking about. It's not a young thing. It's just a curiosity. Like some people don't take the school bus;
so
they get the ride.
I didn't live far enough from school.
You walked.
Yeah, or you got a ride.
Josh, did you walk? Take the bus.
Bus.
Take the bus. We got to find out how many bus kids we got.
I was a bus kid. Actually, was a bus kid through my first 5 years of public school. Then I transferred to a Catholic school, and we didn't have a bus.
No bus there.
So then I was just driven to school. My school was 4 minutes away. Yep. And then in high school, I was back on the bus. They did a bus for high school, so I did the bus for 2 years.
I was a bus K through 8, baby. All the way. All the way to high school.
What did you do for those 2 awkward years in high school? You couldn't drive yourself to school.
Got a ride.
Got a ride from mom or dad?
My mom usually took me to school.
Gotcha.
I think.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I didn't know. That's always an interesting question. What do you do for those?
I don't know how. I don't know how it worked out for. I don't know why it worked out. But
yeah, it worked out.
She was able to take me to school for those 2 years of high school, which is always fun. You know, you go to high school and you think you're really cool, and your mom's dropping you off. Bye. Yeah.
Playing Outcast out the window.
I had a neighbor who we're in the same class, but he got a work permit, school permit.
Oh yeah.
And so he was driving when he was a sophomore in high school.
Lives outside of city limits. You got to know that guy.
He'd stop by and scoop me.
Uh-huh.
It'd be great.
That is awesome.
Or if I wanted
he's 14, right?
Yeah.
Like you can get that at 14.
Yeah. And now kids nowadays don't want to get a driver's license.
I know kids don't want to drive anymore.
They're in no rush.
Yeah, we don't really need to.
What do you mean you don't need to drive?
The three of us over here, like once we turned 14, we were like, driver's permit. How do we get it?
Yeah.
16, driver's ed.
I need to take all the steps. This is priority number 1 in my life. Seriously, like immediately when it was available to me. I wanted to drive from the time I saw a car and I could comprehend what it did. Like from 5 years old, basically.
At least
I was like, I got to drive.
Growing up where I did, everything was kind of close together. Like you didn't, like you could walk or you could bike, or like you could have a friend pick you up or anything like that. And I'm sure like the big thing was, we want to drive to the mall. I want to be able to go to a mall. Well, malls were becoming extinct whilst I was growing up.
Wow.
And so it really like my whole like mall life was really, Matt, what do you need? Oh, I need this type of thing. Oh, I'll just get it on Amazon, you know? So like online shopping really took away the chutzpah of getting your car so you could go to the mall so you could shop.
That's crazy.
You know? And then like you start adding in like other things, and it's just like, I think kids my age, and I kind of did it, like you find out like, you know what? It's a little bit less of a hassle to pay your friend who does drive for gas money than, you know, to just have the responsibility of doing all that, you know? I think that's how kids think, maybe.
I never really got the pay me for gas money thing. You know, like if
Yeah.
that was currency.
If I had to drive a group, like we would go down to Lincoln for the state tournament or something like that, and you know, you take 4 people in your car, and I was never gonna be like, hey, you guys need to throw me $10 for gas money. It's like I chose to drive.
Okay, I gotta tell the story.
I chose to drive, so I'll drive and I'll drive back and I'll pay for gas on the other side, and I'll probably get a ride from you at some point. It'll even out. It's like buying people beers.
It's person by person. There are some people who need it. There are some people who don't need it.
Yeah.
I totally agree. We threw a housewarming party right? Just moved into Omaha. This is about a month ago. And we were like, you know what? Like, everybody's coming from Lincoln, right? We're like, you know what? You don't need a BYOB. You don't need to bring all that stuff. We'll buy you. We'll have the snacks. We'll have the beers. We'll have the food. Don't worry about it. Right? Just come in, have a good time, and then we're going to go out after. So we told people that. We didn't expect anybody to, do anything. All we wanted was a thank you. Okay. So we go, the night goes on, next morning happens, and we had a couple of people, hey, thanks so much for the night, blah, 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 whatever. And we got a Venmo from one of my friends, and he Venmo'd. And I'm telling you right now, we bought like 230 racks. Like, there was a lot of booze. There was like a charcuterie board. Like, there was hot dogs. There was brats. There was crackers. Like, this, we had a beer pong table. Like, we bought a table, like set it up for beer pong. Like, it was the full go. And our buddy Venmo'd myself and my roommate.
Can I guess?
Yes.
$10.
Gary.
20.
Josh.
$5.
He Venmo'd us $4 each.
Wow.
We both
You can keep your money.
We both got 4. Okay.
Oh, so he dished out 8.
$8 total. And my first question was,
I've done the math here.
I go, how did he get to 8? He's like, oh, I had 3 chips here and I had 1 beer here, and he would put. So that was my second statement was, you know what I want to do? I want to Venmo him back $8. That's what I wanted to do. Like, I didn't want to say, no.
That's exactly right.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for showing up and having our food and having our drink. My roommate goes, no, just say thank you. So I just said thank you. I took the money. I didn't want to start. $4.
Stuff. I would have just probably declined the request. Just like, don't give me your $4.
What do you? And
you haven't done anything.
I asked Dan. I go, what do you even do with $4? Like, what does $4 even buy anymore?
Great question, Matt.
You
Thank
used to be able to buy a Chick-fil-A sandwich, just the sandwich, for $4.24. Now that's $5.13. You can't even get that anymore.
No, you can't do nothing with $4.
Maybe put it on a roulette machine and get it to 8.
$4 is like a penny.
Always comes back to the roulette machine.
Yeah, it does.
You think we had?
What are you, a Windex bottle at the end of the life? What was that?
It's a laugh. It's laughing.
That was something.
Gary made a funny joke.
What would you ask Kelly Pfeiffer if we had him in studio today?
Oh,
he was on display last night.
Who tailors your pants?
Kelly Pfeiffer is very busy, so I don't think that would ever happen. But I would love to have Kelly Pfeiffer in studio. Open invite.
He
a close friend, Kelly Pfeiffer.
He, like in the Summit League, there's more chance to interact with the radio guy, and so I always talk to him. And then, like, I see him sometimes during the summer at AAU events, like if they're doing a ref clinic.
Yeah, I know what I'd ask him. I would say, when did you change your barber?
Oh, that's
because he doesn't have the Dumb and Dumber haircut anymore.
He doesn't.
He got something. Somebody told him he needs a stylist, and he got one.
He ran a comb through it or something.
So I do know he lives close to Mitchell, South Dakota. So he likes talking about the Corn Palace. Yeah, he's got a weird. It's not like he lives somewhere where you can just fly in and just drive home. Like, he's got to fly to Sioux Falls or Omaha, and then he drives to Mitchell.
That's crazy.
On the 2 days a month that he has off.
Yeah, that's he probably just stays on the road.
I like how we're both obsessed with his cosmetics, because my question would be, what's your leg day routine? I mean, the guy's got some hunk of tree hunks on him. I mean, he's got some big legs.
Yeah.
Well,
and
tight pants.
Who was the other ref last night? The bald guy,
DJ
Carsonson.
Oh,
so DJ Carsonson, I would ask him, do you shave your head every day? Is it an everyday thing or is it every other day thing? Most refs, I don't know if you guys have noticed this. You've been around a lot of them, Gary. You will notice that they seem adverse generally to body hair. They don't, many of them don't have hair on their arms.
2 for 2 on crossovers this week about body hair.
And I've been in the meetings before when the refs are sort of getting ready. And they don't have, they don't have hair on their legs. Many of them don't have hair on their legs or arms.
Oh yeah, look at my legs. First time you'll ever see him. Last time you'll see him.
I assume that's just because maybe you don't want to be called out as being the ref with the hairy arms. I don't know.
I think I'd rather be called out as the ref with hairy arms as opposed to the ref who's bad at his job.
The bad ref.
Like, now you got me thinking. Like, I don't recall many refs, if at all, in basketball that are like have a beard.
No, they keep it pretty tight. They keep it pretty
Did he
tight.
just rock your world? I think you just got.
Just look out for this.
Old Yankees rules.
Yeah.
No hair, please.
Like, think about it. You don't see a lot of sports officials at the pro level or the college level that have beards.
It's like the president.
No, I do think that's a thing where they're like, they don't want one ref to stand out as the ref with the beard or, whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
they just want they want them to stand out as the one that really runs with high knees.
You trying to be bigger than the game, bro?
Hey, yeah. Jeffrey Anderson he's rehabbing right now. I think he tore his ACL.
He tore it? He tore it?
Wasn't that the story last week that he...
I thought he just hurt his knee.
Or maybe he hurt his knee.
Yeah, ACL in the hotel room would be wild. Isn't that the dream Big Ten ref trio? DJ, Pfeiffer, high knees, all together.
Who else would we throw in
Terry
there?
McCauley.
Well, Terry. Terry's
Pfeiffer.
I was going to
say Pfeiffer.
Let's look at some more guys.
Braden, Bradshaw.
No.
Bickelstaff.
McCauley.
No, he's the TV guy.
He's a TV guy. Yeah.
He'll come to me.
Let's see who did.
Well, it would be like last night. I walked in and I saw those two were two of the three officials, and I thought we're going to be in for it tonight.
Yeah.
And as a result, they got what they deserved to work that game.
Paul Sells, Larry Scorado. Those are some Big Ten guys. I'm just looking at some Big Ten games right now. We got Earl Walton.
Do you think
that's a name
Kelly
that I've
has
seen
the picture?
I got to go to the ref rankings. Kempom.
So Earl Walton, by the way, loves to do this. He'll work a game in Lincoln, and then I don't know if he has a connection to Omaha, but then if like he's working in Lincoln on a Wednesday or Thursday, he will work an Omaha game on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And he's done that a couple of times, like over the last few years. So he likes hanging out in Omaha.
It's amazing.
Maybe he's got a girl.
You never know.
Could be. I believe he's from Texas.
So let's see how many Nebraska games has our friend Jeffrey Anderson done this year? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, no, he did a UNO game. Jeffrey Anderson did a UNO game.
He did our game in Vegas.
He did. You nailed it. 4.
He would never forget it.
4 Nebraska games this year for Jeffrey Anderson. The last one being the Illinois win in Lincoln. Let's check on K5.
Terry Weimer is the guy I was thinking about.
Terry Weimer. Yeah,
yes.
Good one. Let's see. So last night our crew, DJ Carsonson, Kelly Pfeiffer, Mike Reed. Kelly Pfeiffer he did the Northwestern game. He did the Maryland game on the road. He did the Indiana game at home. And he did the UTRGV game. That's it. Well, we've only had 5 Kelly Pfeiffer experiences so far this year. More to come, I'm sure. More to come.
Which one of them called the Asian block?
Oh,
that was DJ.
That was DJ. Yeah.
And DJ's the head guy too, so he gets to go up and speak to the microphone. The previous play is under further review.
So I was telling Gary, I saw Kelly right away.
Guy looks like Voldemort.
I saw Kelly right away. I go, and then the Asian block got called. I go, oh, DJ's doing it today too. I'm telling you, we just need high knees in there. That's the Avengers. I mean, that's the LeBron, Bosch, and Wade.
See, this would be now that there's like no quote unquote Big Ten officials or Big East officials that kind of like they're all across the board.
Yeah, they kind of, but it's the same group. Still.
You don't see a lot of Big Ten, Big East crossover, but there's not like, hey, that's the Big East official.
Yeah, let's see like what's
I would
Evan.
love to see Kelly do a UConn game. Oh my God.
Like
what I would pay to see Early and Pfeiffer go at it.
Let's check on Evan Burrows' game log.
You thought McCaffrey and Pfeiffer was legendary? Holy crud.
So Evan Burrows this year has done 3 Creighton games, 0 Nebraska games. So yeah, Evan Burrows must be based on the East Coast. He's got a lot of small college East Coast stuff in here. Ken Palm, what a great resource.
One guy that is banned from working in this area, Ted Valentine.
TV Ted. Is he still cooking?
Yeah, he does. I think he does some ACC and A10 living in Charleston.
Do you pay for the Ken Palm?
I do pay for the Ken Palm.
Yeah.
It's well worth the investment.
No.
I've because I'm always out there right before the Creighton games start, and me and the ref always have whatever conversation that comes up. I don't know if I've befriended many of them this year, but we have cordial conversations.
Sure.
Maybe I'll ask whoever's reffing tomorrow night's game if they like the push button or the turnkey. I'm gonna do that. Whichever shake hands, whatever. Hey, I'm
Connor Happer. I'm the MC for tonight. I got a question
I'm
for
Paul
you.
Sells. What do you think, Paul? You like push button or you like the turnkey?
Well,
I'm an old-fashioned man. I like a turnkey.
I get a lot of rentals, and anymore they got the push button. Took some getting used to, but
Well, we've had a little.
Is that how refs talk, Josh?
I'm in on
Yeah,
it.
I was right. Is this a Paul Sells impression?
That's my ref voice.
So we've had a little controversy in the Summit League with our officials. So most of the officials,
Shaving points.
no.
It's happening.
Jeez,
I know,
Josh.
but let's hope not. I don't know.
He's
Are they-
shaving
But most of the
points.
guys, most of the guys and gals that are in the Summit League.
Oh, Terry Oglesby. That's who you.
That's what I was thinking.
Terry
Not
Oglesby.
Weimer Oglesby.
Terry Oglesby.
He's still working.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he
Um,
did the Northwestern game.
So a lot of the Summit League officials, men and women, I've been in the league long enough that I know a lot of them. So they'll always they'll give you a fist bump, but they might say hello or whatever. So we had an announcer of a other Summit League team was doing a game that there were a lot of fouls, 119 to 104, said on the air, this is the most egregious thing I've ever seen.
Okay.
Like, went
Here
all
we
in.
Go.
Ever since then, all the officials, and some of them I've known for a while, and they're really good guys and gals, they are so cold to the radio.
Ooh.
We don't get unless I know the person personally, I don't get a fist bump anymore. And I was like, wow, this is
Unbelievable.
really weird. And then a guy from South Dakota goes, I think it's because of something that was said, and it got around to because it was a game that a lot of people were watching, and so it got around to.
Well, we used to be in the.
There's a boycott on fist pumps now.
Well, I think there's. So this person went way over the top on the officials.
Okay. I thought it was just, he said it was egregious.
He went way over the top.
Gotcha.
And the officiating evaluator for the league was watching the game on the Summit League network. So then he shared with the league, and then he shared with his officials. And
The whole table crew used to be in on the meetings before the games, where the refs would sort of explain some things that they're emphasizing, or some things that some rule changes that have came through, and just it was great, like communication with the clock and all of those things. But after COVID, that doesn't happen anymore.
Really?
Yeah, I sort of miss those, because those meetings were insightful, just to see what the refs were kind of thinking on any given night. We would go in there at, I think, 45 on the clock. We'd all hang out for 5 minutes and then come back out. We get the security escort, back on the floor. These guys have some information. No, we don't. It's just, we were just hanging out with the refs. All right, guys, have a good game. See you later. That was mostly the meetings.
When I did the Big Ten Plus women's basketball games, there were some refs that they were always very, the women refs were always very, very nice to us, would always come up to us, always explain stuff, would come up to, basically come into our microphone almost and be like, this is what we're calling, this is why we're doing it. And it was actually really nice and really cool.
Well, there are some on the Big Ten women's side that are rough.
There were, and I think I know who we're talking about here, but there were a couple male referees who never did. The dudes never did that. They never cared. They would just call it whatever. They wouldn't even come and say hi to us. But
we're on BTN Plus.
Exactly. They wouldn't
hey, that's true. They do look to see what network we're on tonight.
Oh yeah.
And then if they recognize the analyst, if it's an analyst they don't know, they're not coming over to tell you. We got a hook and hold on Juwan.
For a while this year, they were only doing the ref camera and mic with Peacock or NBC.
Yeah.
And then I think FS1 and Fox have now thrown it into their requirements.
So it's not like a conference thing.
I don't know who. I would assume it's the TV networks that demand it and probably pay for it too. But
I think it's a great addition.
I do too. No, yeah, it's good. It's good for transparency.
Well, I also like both places. They show replays of controversial stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Asijan foul last night, and then the Mia foul.
It is
they did show it on Husker.
It has
Vision.
never been clearly explained to me what is allowed and what is not allowed. And on as far as that's concerned, showing the what do we show?
I've noticed that if it's
because sometimes we'll do it and then somebody will come over the thing and they'll be like, hey, you can't do that, and then whatever it is.
You know what? It was just a couple of years ago that they started showing So I went to a game at Kansas TCU a couple years ago. There was a review on the field, and on, I guess, Jayhawk Vision, they showed the 7 different angles that the replay was looking at. They
Yes.
put it on the board.
Sometimes they just take that.
Yeah. And I noticed, was it probably 3 years ago? It was post-COVID. They started showing different angles of the replay of what the officials were looking at Memorial Stadium.
Yeah. Now
So-
they have all of them over at Replay Center over there, but sometimes you'll see the refs, take a while on the Replay Center and then go across the court to TV.
Yes.
But theoretically, it should all be the same. They should have all the angles. So I don't know what they're trying to do.
So this is what, because there's a couple places in the Summer League, the positioning of their cameras is not great, like for the school,
Right.
but the TV has a better camera.
Right.
And so they only have access to basically the school's cameras. So that's why they might go and look like that.
Yeah. Sorry, Matt, what were you going to say?
Well, I've noticed that if it's like the audience or the fans are like, that's a bad call, and it was actually the right call, they won't show it on the big screen. But if the fan, or if it's clearly like a really, really bad call that goes against the home team, they will show it on the big screen.
Mm.
And I've noticed too, if it's a bad call that is for the home team, they won't show it because they don't want the other team looking at it, or they don't want the referees looking at it. So there definitely is like a strategy, I think, built into what you're showing on the replay and what you're not showing on the replay. For sure.
Prime example, Brendan Riley catch against Michigan State. They didn't
show that in the stadium?
No. But people that were like had access to watch it on TV were like, oh my God.
Well, they do it in Wrigley.
I was at that game. I don't remember them showing it or not showing it on the video board.
Like in Wrigley, like they're very like picky choosy with what they show on the video board. And if it's a clear like for the Cubs, it's on there right away. But if it's like a close call, they don't really show it.
Just wait till the challenge system.
But see, now I think it's wide open because of the challenge system.
People are
because
gonna
you're
love
going
the
to everybody
challenge
in the
system.
stadium is going to see the graphic and see if it's the right call or the wrong call.
It's great. It's a game inside of a game, man. And the umps get to be shamed right there in front of everybody. It's fantastic.
But this is going to be uncomfortable, though, man. At Yankee Stadium, in the pennant race, when that umpire's made a bad call.
Oh, you remember the ones, we could recall some ones at Warner Park where the ump was just swimming in it,
Yeah.
Couldn't get any of them right. Challenge. Jeez.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well,
it gets rough.
And there was one, she was a female umpire because she had been talking about getting promoted. And she had a night where Mike Jershely just banged.
Challenge
everything.
And he was right every time.
Really?
Yeah.
Does it slow down the game a ton, or is it pretty quick?
No, it's very fast.
It is.
It's very fast.
Because
All right,
immediately once the challenge is made, they're rolling the replay because it's not like the umpire has to look at it.
Sure.
It's up on the video board.
It's like the tennis thing.
Everybody finds out at the
seen that.
same time.
That's awesome.
All right. You guys have a great day. Enjoy the weather.
Cigar day.
Cigar day. All right. Cool.
Why is it a cigar day?
Because I want to smoke a cigar.
All right. Any day could be a cigar day.
No. And the weather's nice.
And the weather's nice. All right, that's Crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha. Everlevel Concrete. Ham Porter says the show starts next.
That's the Crossover. The Connor Happer Show is next on 1620 The Zone.
Warming up again on Tuesday. Expect mostly to partly sunny skies. Southwest wind picks up in the afternoon, gusting around 20 miles per hour. Highs in the mid-60s. Chance for scattered light showers later in the evening and overnight hours, mainly between 7 p.m. and midnight. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
Dell Technologies is celebrating with anniversary savings on their most popular tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 16, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors, mice, and more must-have electronics and accessories. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology to match your forward-thinking spirit and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals. It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Happy Tuesday. The Connor Happer Show
close.
Here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Yeah, I'm just ready to get back out there, Josh. Ready to get back to the Creighton game.
I'm not personally, because I'm dreading the show tomorrow, because you and John are just going to be 8 o'clock tip. What? Oh, you should be brought up on war crimes for an 8 o'clock tip.
I don't do that, Josh.
Okay.
I don't say that.
I'll remember that.
The game is on Peacock. Yes.
That's right.
So
it can be on any time if it's on Peacock.
It's very interesting how that works.
It's true.
It's very interesting. But that's all. I have no complaints about anything. I don't complain.
DePaul, 8 o'clock, Peacock.
Yeah.
Creighton doesn't have a lot of bring your own energy games, but it kind of feels like one.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, maybe there will be a little bit of that. Anyway, that's a tomorrow job. But I did think that tomorrow was today. Today on the show, because it's Tuesday, we'll talk to Allan Bell of Driving the Line at 11:30. We will talk to Jacob Bigelow at 1 o'clock. Nebraska basketball last night. Congratulations. They ripped off the Sickos game of the century.
An impressive achievement.
About 49-46 last night. That's Big Ten basketball.
Virginia peering through the windows at PBA last night going, oh, yeah.
Tony Bennett's sitting there like, oh, boy, why did I retire? I could have just moved to the Big Ten. Bad call by me.
Mm-hmm.
But NIL's not going anywhere, so Tony Bennett probably, made the right choice for himself.
Coward.
So we'll talk about that coming up here in just a minute, of course, and what it means going forward and how maybe dicey the situation has gotten for Nebraska. I know Josh is really up to date and in tune with all the bracketologies.
Big bracketology guy. Lenardi just dropped his during the crossover.
And I was going to say, by all the bracketologies, I mean, you just really make us aware when Lenardi drops his. What is Lenardi thinking on Nebraska updated as of this morning, Josh?
Last 4 in, they will be playing Oklahoma in a play-in game in Dayton.
Oh no.
They would play Marquette in Cleveland if they were to get out of that.
So things are getting a little dicey.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Omaha takes on number 1 seed Florida. I don't know why I said it like that. Omaha, not in a play-in game. So that scenario we talked about yesterday, might not have to worry about it.
But if you're Omaha, would you rather be in a play-in game or would you rather not be in a play-in game?
I think you would rather be in a play-in game.
Really?
Right?
Just so you could say you won an NCAA tournament game? I don't know. I haven't thought about that a lot.
I imagine the team probably says, no, we want to give us the 1 seed. We want to be in the field of 64.
Yeah.
But fans might say the exact opposite, right?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
We haven't had to deal with Dayton a lot.
That's a conversation worth having. People are already concerned today. I got an email from David this morning.
Oh, hi, David. Thanks for emailing the show.
I haven't had a chance to listen to anything yet from today, but if Random Mike calls in and says, don't you think it would be better if Nebraska went to the NIT and won a few games at PBA rather than lose the first round of the NCAA tournament? If that happens, I'm going to lose it, David says. So we'll be on watch for that, if that might happen today. But yes, we'll talk about the tournament scenario for Nebraska, and then of course the slop that was the basketball game last night. Some bigger picture stuff, of course, with football, and how Nebraska might build a team going forward. Also, people have alerted us to a new Dylan Raiola, Emmett Johnson TikTok. We have reviewed the film. It's not pretty.
I've seen the footage.
It's not pretty.
I'm ready to rule.
Okay, we'll hold that ruling.
Oh yeah.
Returning production. Bill Connolly has his returning production, which has to be completely factored different these days with the transfer portal and all of those things. We'll talk about that today. There is the big meeting today, or one of the big meetings today, with the conference commissioners in Fort Worth as they try to decide what the college football playoff might look like for next season regarding seeding and things like that. We're changing things. And then potentially they get a little further down the line in the agenda and they say, oh yeah, by the way, we want to completely change it. And we want to add at least 2 more teams. And we want the Big Ten and the SEC each to have 4. That might be a little bit later. We have, we'll check in with a public address announcer in Texas at a SWAC game last night. Steve Sipple talked to Dane Key, Nebraska's top wide receiver, looks like, for next year. And he told Sipple why he's here. And it wasn't, you know why I'm here. He actually said it. He actually said why he's here. And it might be regarding that guy in the TikTok.
I just like his dance moves.
Yeah, that was the quote. And stay tuned today. We have tickets.
Tickets?
We have tickets to sporting events. Omaha's a great sports town. And so Thursday at 7, the Omaha Supernovas are back and they're taking on the Orlando Valkyries. We have 2 tickets to that. So listen for that throughout the show today. And we have 4 tickets to UNO hockey on Friday against Arizona State.
Big one in the NCHC, 2 versus 3 in the conference right now.
And it's one of the last 2 home games this year. So
watch out for them Devils now.
Stay tuned, and we'll have those throughout the show today. Want to hear from you all, 402-951-1620 on the hotline. You can call or text that number, tweet at Happer Show, at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor Josh Show at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to the YouTube streamers today. Hi, everybody. How we doing? Wow, we have a Facebook commenter.
Love that. No shortage of ways to get in touch with us.
We're on Facebook.
We are.
We're just like your moms. We're on Facebook. Oh, it says, I had the shame of having to watch that game, and all I could say is that it was the epitome of Nebraska sports, finding a way to lose. Oh, man. Oh, and that's awfully, it's
accurate of you.
No, it's not very bright. It's not very bright.
Oh, I mean, if Nebrasketball Mike doesn't have the faith, why would anyone else who roots for this team?
Yeah, I mean, maybe we asked the question today, was Nebrasketball Mike right? Topics. We have many topics for you today. All right, off and running here on a Tuesday. Come back. Talk about Nebraska basketball and oh so much more on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
For the Jays, the Huskers, and even you Jayskers, we are 1620 The Zone.
Hi, it's me, producer Josh, director of audio for 1620 The Zone. It's my duty to inform you that if you watched Nebraska basketball last night, you could be entitled to financial compensation. When watching a basketball game, it is a reasonable expectation that both teams combine to score more than 100 points. You didn't ask to be subjected to subpar basketball last night. That's 2 hours of your life that you are never getting back. Someone's got to pay, and that someone is Troy Dannon, Fred Hoiberg, and Jawan Gary. If you're interested in joining a class action lawsuit with the intention of creating a structured settlement, call 1-800-SCORE-MORE. That's 1-800-SCORE-MORE. Take back your life with 1620 The Zone.
Wow. Is that true? So what are you offering? What is the I'm proud to announce that I am now a part of my first class action settlement against a company that I actually love dearly.
Well,
but
that's the ones who hurt us most, isn't it?
Not this one. I haven't signed up for this yet because I don't know what am I entitled to?
You should get paid for watching that game last night.
So money. You're offering money? I thought you were
I want to be crystal clear about this. That was a parody. I'm not offering anyone anything.
Somebody is offering.
I'm saying we probably could get together and start a class action lawsuit for whatever the hell that was last night.
More so than money, Josh, I know how these things work. 2 years, you sign up for this thing and then 2 years later you get a check for $25 in the mail and you're like, this is kind of disappointing. But what I want is I want my time back.
Can't get that.
I want my time back.
You will never get that time back.
But that's what class action, that's what I'm suing for. I'm suing for my time.
Thousands of you said, I will watch Nebraska basketball tonight. And not a single one of you came out of that happy.
What if they would have won? Would they be offering this class action lawsuit the ability to sign up for the repercussions?
Honestly, probably not. No, because it would be a win is a win anyway.
That's exactly what I would have said.
Doesn't matter if it looks like crap.
If Nebraska's signature win in the season would have been winning 47-46 against Michigan at home, that would have been that would have been nice in and of itself.
Lights out defense.
Got an email here from John.
Hi, John.
On the Equitable Bank inbox. Does Josh regret uncanceling Nebraska basketball? Now, did you do that?
No, I never did that. I want to be, again, crystal clear about my stance.
I don't know that you doubled down on your cancellation.
I did not double down, but I did not rescind it.
So is this an opportunity to double down again?
I'll tell you what I've told you all year. They're good. And they ain't hanging any banners this year.
No, what do you mean? The crown. I'm just kidding. They're still. They're still going to end up in the NCAA tournament. That's the funniest thing about all this. I think they're still going to end up in the NCAA tournament.
As soon as I learn what the college basketball crown is, then maybe we could talk about hanging a banner for winning.
Don't you see those little icons that they put up there on the screen when they show the bracketology? There's a crown there.
There's a crown there. I don't know what that means.
It's the NIT.
But it's not the NIT anymore. The NIT still exists, right? Because the SEC is not a part of the college basketball crown, right?
Yeah, that's right. They're making a competing tournament with the NIT, which everyone asked for.
That's dumb.
We all wanted this.
I'll tell you right now, it's dumb.
I want a class action lawsuit for that.
The college basketball crown.
If your team has been placed in the crown tournament and they are being forced to play games by Fox Sports, you could be entitled to damages.
Yeah, no, this team's going to win 18 or 19 games in the regular season and make the NCAA tournament.
And then when you get there, you have a chance to win a basketball game, just as they had a chance to win a basketball game last night.
I guess technically you're right.
We're going to probably feel a lot different because it's a roller coaster, right?
It is.
Right now, if you're telling me this is the team, and then this is the team that's going to break the forever drought of winning an NCAA tournament game for Nebraska, that is still very much on the table.
I guess
very much on this.
Isn't that kind of fitting?
This team will be enshrined in Nebraska basketball history. Every single last one of them, including the person who Josh is suing, Jawan Gary.
The people,
1 of 12 from the field.
Jawan Gary,
or 2 of 13 from the field.
Like a little bit better ROI than that. My tax dollars are paying his NIL.
Are they?
No, not
I
at
don't
all.
think that's how NIL
That's what
works.
people say, though.
I don't think that's how NIL works. Oh, boy. So the defense was good. The defense was good. The defense was good. The defense was good. They allowed 49 points.
Or was the shot making terrible?
Well, look, I thought Nebraska's energy on the defensive end was very good. No sarcasm. They played defensively plenty well enough to win that basketball game against Michigan last night. And that's what I thought. I gave you the whole thing yesterday and people laughed and laughed and laughed. I said, I think Michigan will fall into the Nebraska trap. I think they will.
No, I mean, you said they'd win, but if you want to get technical.
And look at what happened. They fell right into the trap.
They did
5
fall.
of 27 from 3. They fell directly into the trap. Michigan went 5 of 27 from 3. They went 18 of 61 from the field. Neither team shot over 30% from either the field or 3-point range. Nebraska, 0.687 points per possession. Michigan, 0.7 points per possession. And we're talking about, like, it's not like the tempo was particularly slow either. I mean, Michigan had 70 possessions. Nebraska had 67 possessions. Yeah, so Jack John writes in.
Hi, Jack John.
Anyone who watched that game last night and thought by some chance both teams were just cold all night, no ball. You don't know ball. Both teams should have had 5 guys foul out apiece. Neither team even made the double bonus. Just the way it was officiated. I mean, you did have some dudes just getting run over, and the foul was on the person who got run over. So there was that.
I saw that a lot, and I thought, oh, here we go. Nebraska basketball fans criticizing officiating. A tale as old as time. And then I watched some of them, and I'm like, okay,
we'll continue this conversation in a minute here too, because let's spread out a little bit. We're going to talk about Nebraska basketball for like the next 20 minutes. So let's set the scene here. I want to hear from you guys, 402-951-1620. You could tweet into the show as well. Nebraska seemed literally, and they seemed like they looked at the scouting report and they saw that Vlad Golden and Danny Wolf were down there, and they watched them and they were like, okay, we're going to go in there sometimes, but we know that their presence, has a monumental impact on the game. I just thought Nebraska, number one, looked kind of scared to take the ball into the paint, and then did a horrible job of finishing through contact. I mean, you have to, if you're going to take it at those guys, even on the possession, and I know, you got to make threes and you got to make shots to win it. Nebraska went, I believe, 1 of 7 on layups last night. 1 of 7 from point blank range. Point blank. And yes, that's because they have 7-foot tall people, multiple of them. But also, I just felt like they thought they were going to have to go. They were like, we're undersized and we know what we're going to have to do. We're going to try and draw some contact. Like, you actually have to make an attempt at scoring the basketball, especially if you're not getting calls. And there was some fighting in that game last night. No doubt about it. Some hand fighting, some contact. And that's how it results in a 49-46 game. Part of how it does anyway.
Berke out there looking like Philip Seymour Hoffman from Along Came Polly.
Dude. He's a tough watch.
3 ball.
He's Rain Man. He's a tough watch. On offense, in particular. Defensively, I mean, he clearly takes up space and is able to move guys and stuff like that. But I don't know. There was one that I pointed out on Twitter last night where, like, Gary had the ball right wing, Berke was wide open left wing, and the only person even near him was, I think, Golden, and he was like in the painted area. And Gary looked at him, like, he stared him in his face. And he's like, all right, I got my options here. I could either skip pass and get it to Berke for a 3-pointer, or I could drive and probably run into the 7-footers, or I could shoot my own 3-pointer. And he did not pass it to the wide open guy. I just think that and he's getting reintegrated back into everything, but I think he's practiced over the last couple of days. Yeah, it was not a great offensive night last night. So we'll dive into the details as we continue on. And of course, we would love to hear from you all. 402-951-1620. We'll take your thoughts and we'll continue on Nebraska basketball when we return on 1620 The Zone.
let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Saw a lot of conversation about the Nebraska's 3-point attempt down by 1 last night with about 12 seconds left in the game.
Don't need a 3 here.
People love saying
they do.
Don't need a 3 here. In the moment, I thought it was fine. I thought it was a shot that you could live with, and I thought it was a good option. And then looking back and seeing what the options were, like in, afterwards, upon further review.
You grind some tape?
I still felt like it was a good option for them. I didn't have any problem with Connor Essegian taking that shot. Like, think about it. I mean, so, Michigan misses the front end of a 1-and-1, up 47-46 with 12 seconds left. Wooster rises up, grabs a rebound. Well done by him. Quickly gets it to the outlet, but Michigan had taken Wolf off of the block on the free throw rebound and just put him back. Just place him underneath the hoop to discourage anybody trying to score on him. And what do you know? Brice Williams finds himself snaking through everybody and getting downhill toward the basket, and he looks up and he sees big ass Danny Wolf right underneath the rim, and he's like, let's. So then at that point is the inflection point. What are we gonna do? Do we try and these are not in order of the best opportunities. Go right in at Wolf and try and draw a foul, which you haven't been getting any calls all night. Right? You haven't, not just you, but there's been a light whistle. They've been swallowing their whistles all night, right? So am I going to go right at Wolf? Best case scenario, I get fouled. Second best case scenario, right? Like, or best case scenario, you score on him, which is hard to do. You try to get fouled, and then, you might miss, and then it gets blocked or something like that, or it goes out of bounds and you can reset. And this is about when he's at the top of the key or in the free throw line, that kind of area, where he kind of, flares out a little bit. Essegian's coming down. Like, that is an in rhythm, stepped into clean 3-point look by your best 3-point shooter. I know you're only down by 1. You definitely didn't need a 3 to many people's points. I don't mind the shot. Or his third option may have been to, could he have pulled it out, reset at the top of the key, and then got something going? I don't necessarily, at that point, you probably got about 9 or 8 seconds left. I don't necessarily trust Nebraska's ability to kind of get their puppies organized with 8 seconds left and draw something up that gets Brice Williams a clean look. So I thought with the information that he was presented, I thought Brice Williams made the right play, or one of the right plays, and Essegian just missed the 3-pointer. And then at that point, he misses, they get the rebound, and you still foul with enough time, even if they make 2 free throws, which they did to go up 49-46, you still leave yourself, in between 2 and 3 seconds to get a halfway decent look. And to the luck of, Wooster hand grenaded that thing off of the inbound from the made free throws. He was like, let's just throw it up there and see what happens. And Berke catches it, and Michigan did a great job of staying disciplined, and they stayed on Brice, because he was looking for the dump off to Brice for a clean look at 3 to tie the game. And then Berke, he pivots around, and all of a sudden he's wide open. And you're like, oh, okay, here we go. Now, you couldn't have asked for a better scenario to try and tie the game with, I think there was 2.6 on the clock at that point. And they missed that one too. That's kind of the story of the game, right? You had a couple opportunities to make big shots, and the only person that made any big shots, well, I guess there was 2, Brice Williams and Sam Hoiberg made a couple down the stretch. Platcat told me earlier, he pointed this out on KenPom. So the O rating.
What's your little KenPom thing you say about last night?
So Brice Williams' O rating was 113. 100 is like average, right? Okay. So you're working off of 100. 113, Brice Williams had a good night. Sam Hoiberg, in his 20 minutes, had the offensive rating of 300.
Oh.
Here's the rest of them.
2 of 2.
Braxton Mia, 58 in his 12 minutes. Jawan Gary, 50 in his 29 minutes. Raleigh Worcester, 52 in his 30 minutes. Connor Season, 45 in his 16 minutes. Andrew Morgan, 17 in his 20 minutes. And the chef's kiss, Berke Buchtengel, 8. 8.
100 is average.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
8.
8.
You want to get him through Buckley County a little faster than 7 miles an hour?
The guy went 0 for 10 from the field and 0 for 6 from 3, and I don't think he was even in the neighborhood on any of his three-point attempts. My guy was chucking last night. He pulled in 4 rebounds.
Allow me to be the proxy for the audience here.
What do you think about before we get to the game? Like, what do you think about the last shot? Were you okay with that?
It was fine. I mean, that's it. Not the guy, but that's your best 3-point shooter. I understand he'd been over for the day. It'd been a tough shooting night for everybody. I was fine with it. Generally.
I was fine with it. Like, I wasn't like extremely excited about it, but I was fine with it. It's your best 3-point shooter with an in step, in transition, in rhythm free 3.
The audience, a lot of people chiming in, but Connor, they had a timeout.
Yeah,
use the time.
You could have taken a timeout. You could have taken a timeout right there. But once again, I don't know. Like, that requires full trust of everyone on the court at the moment to execute something. And that's the big picture thing for me with this group. I just don't know. I don't know if they like each other. I don't know if they trust what they're trying to accomplish on a given night. Oftentimes it seems like, if there's 5 guys out there on the court, there's only 2 of them out there who are on the same page of the book. They're just trying to scrap it together somehow on offense. I said a couple weeks ago on the show, like, I just feel like they should just run sets. Like, they should just run sets on offense. Slow things way down and just try and run plays on offense. And, probably you're not going to get what they've done is they've thought, okay, we could do that. Run sets the majority of the time, or we can just allow Brice Williams to just take the ball and get cooking on a nightly basis. And I think they've obviously sided with that. He takes 21 out of Nebraska's 62 shots, and it should have been more. At one point, he was, for a long portion of the game, he was the only person who had scored. For a long portion of the game, he was the only person who shot the ball. There
was like 9:30 left in the first half before someone else scored.
Before anybody else scored. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. What else do we have here? Because I got some more for Nebraska basketball.
You've addressed the offer on Connor taking that last shot.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I think that's most everything. Those 2 are the main sticking points for people.
I thought they were scared to take the ball inside the paint, like I said. And nobody besides Brice Williams obviously did anything, literally anything. Lowest point total that I could find since February 6, 2019 at home against Maryland.
Oh, that's not as far back as I would have thought.
When Nebraska scored 45. Yeah, you thought you were going to talk about like peach baskets or something like that. Yeah. Nebraska's had some.
Sure.
They've had some halves now. I can recall a half. I think they had at Penn State where they scored like 12 or 16 or something like that.
Ugh.
That night against Maryland at home, they went 12 of 57 from the field. Roby made 7 of those. I was looking at this box score last night. I mean, it was pretty funny how close it was to this. And that was back in the day when, I guess this is the last year of the Tim Miles era. I was going to say it was in the Fred years when they didn't bother playing defense. And Maryland won 60-45. Nebraska, so they get 20 points from Roby and they score 45 on the night. The rest of the team sans Isaiah Roby that night. James Palmer went 2 of 13. Glenn Watson went 0 of 10. Thomas Allen went 2 of 6. Nana Akinton went 1 of 4. Man, I got to pull up the KenPom on the O ratings on that one. That's what I got to do. But yeah, some historical context on that game. Let's see. O rating. Oh, wow. It looks very similar. Tanner Borkart was the only one over 100 that night. And look, they had an 8.
Oh.
The Berkay of the night when Nebraska played Maryland on Wednesday, February 6, 2019, and scored only 45 points. The Berkay of the night was Glenn Watson. He had an O rating of 8 on KenPom.
I can't believe it!
Yeah. So Hoiberg
that should be the thing, the Berkay of the night.
Every game has a Berkay. Every game has a Berkay. I can think of Creighton's Berkay.
Mm-hmm.
Hoiberg mentioned Rink Mast a couple times in the press conference last night. I felt like that was an interesting time. It's definitely a what if with this group. And he would have provided a lot for them last night. Obviously, just a presence down there and a guy who's not afraid. And he's crafty enough, right, to be able to score on those kind of guys. But they don't have that. And so it basically just comes down to, all right, is it going to be a night where Juwan Gary and Connor Essegian and whoever else, Berkay can do a couple positive things for us? Or is it going to be an exclusively Brice Williams night? And that was the story for Nebraska last night. Now, on to what it might look like going forward. The NCAA tournament, Josh. Still in the picture. Of course.
Sure.
Still in the picture.
They got some really good wins this season.
Things are getting dicey, though. Things are, and we'll see the bracketologies kind of squeeze out at various points throughout the day. But you mentioned Lenardi's earlier, where he bumped them down to a play-in game.
Nebraska, Oklahoma in the NCAA tournament.
Come on. Man, the old Big 8 days.
Yeah.
Josh.
Game of the century.
Very, very, yeah, it's the game of the century. Minnesota at home, on the road at Ohio State, home against Iowa. The line, the conventional, here's what you need to get into the tournament, says, I think people are straying kind of toward 19. I think that's a moving target,
Definitely.
And once again, I always said this, even, in the losing streak for Nebraska and then in the winning streak that they had as well, it's not necessarily about getting to whatever it is. It's about who you beat and who you lose to, how it looks and how it feels. And so it's always going to be a moving target. Beating Minnesota wouldn't go necessarily a long way for making the NCAA tournament. It wouldn't notch much in terms of a resume win for them, but losing would. Right? There's two options that you have in a basketball game. It's either winning or losing. Ohio State would do a lot for your resume. And
Ohio State in a very similar situation to Nebraska, so that could be an interesting game.
And then winning at home against Iowa. It basically, like I said yesterday, I kind of thought that they would win that game last night and they'd get themselves enough breathing room down the stretch. And that was sort of a swing game. And it was. I mean, especially the way it played out too. Now you lose it, and you're looking at 3 regular season games left, plus the Big Ten tournament. And you probably need to win. You can't lose to Minnesota on Saturday. You start there. And it'd be really, really nice to get that Ohio State win on the road. And then you get the big Iowa game on the final day of the season. And then you go to the Big Ten tournament. You gotta win these games against teams that are in your region, that are in your ballpark. And especially given that the better quality team that they play left is on the road, that's difficult. And then you almost have 2 can't lose thems at home the remainder of the way. So your margin for error the roller coaster has led us all the way to the end of the line now. And it's kind of do or die. Like they don't have too much margin for error left. That's the situation that game has put you in last night. It's a tough loss.
Getting tight.
Getting really, really tight. But it was the sickos game of the century, so I hope you sickos enjoyed it out there.
They made a memory. No?
Remember that game where we lost 49-46 against Michigan?
That was fun.
I like Fred after the game, he kind of chalked it up to, hey, we just kind of didn't make shots. And I think now he doesn't have time right now to do a full analysis of here's why these things are happening. But I do think it's a little bit oversimplistic to say, hey, we got good looks. We just didn't make them last night. I obviously, if they make a couple more, then we're talking about a different thing. That's always going to be the bottom line.
Yeah, then none of that other stuff matters.
But I just think their lack of organization and togetherness on offense really ends up showing itself in a situation like that. And then you throw Berkey back into the puzzle, and he's going to shoot his shots. And Juwan had a really bad night, and it's discipline. Nebraska has to be disciplined enough, and they were in this category. They did not have things go their way on offense, but man, they did they locked down on defense. So that was a positive step, I thought, for them.
They stayed
last
in
night,
the
right?
game,
That's discipline and that's focus. But the way this looks with the pieces they have to be the kind of team that creates as good of a shot as it can for itself on any given possession. And more likely than not, the guy that ends up with the ball in his hands at the end of it is probably going to be Brice Williams. And they're going to need some help for Brice Williams a little bit, down the stretch here. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't know about their chances. But they've done enough work for themselves prior to this point to get themselves in position. They have to kind of finish a job. David writes in, lack of organization is on the coach and on the leaders. Yeah, some of it is what you have too. Some of it is personnel. I mean, Nebraska just they don't have what they don't have at this point, and that is options for guys that can get going that aren't named Brice Williams. It was like we talk about this with Creighton all the time, and they have more primary scoring options. They have 3 of them, but a lot of their games are dictated by what the Isaac Trouts and the Mason Millers and the Fedor Zugiches do in an individual game. And more often than not, they get enough of those contributions. Nebraska just doesn't get enough of those contributions consistently. And last night was a situation where none of them were doing anything, and you can't win that way. With that being said, Nebraska still had a chance to win, which is wild to me.
Right there at the end.
And Michigan continues their streak of winning games by less than 4 points, which goes on a long, long time now.
Really astronomical what they're doing.
We'll take a phone call here on the hotline. It's Randy. Hey, Randy, thanks for the call. What's going on?
Yeah, well, Fred was right about one thing. They had a lot of open shots that he just missed. But the other thing I noticed is I wasn't paying attention to that. I was watching the crap show last night, but the box score reflected 5 assists for the entire game.
That is correct.
When is the last time a team has won with 5 assists as a team in a game? I can't even think that that's possible.
Oh man, I don't know, Randy. I wouldn't even begin to know how to start researching that. I'm not sure.
I might Google it when I get home out of the car. So
thanks, Randy. Thanks for the call. 5 assists for Nebraska on 16 made baskets. Michigan had 12 assists on 18 made baskets. I mean, Nebraska's it was not good. And like I said, a lot of it is just, all right, Brice, get going. Late in the shot clock, get us a bucket if you can. That's why you're not going to see any assists. I mean, Brice is basically he's their point guard now too. He's their primary ball handler. So if he's going to be the guy shooting the basketball and he has the hot hand that night and nobody else does, probably going to end up in very few assists. Very, very few of them. That's what it was last night.
A quick Google has turned up. Now, this is a post from 10 years ago, mind you.
Okay.
According to ESPN, 1 assist is the lowest assist total a ranked team has had in the past 19 seasons.
Okay.
It doesn't say if they won the game or lost the game, and it would be 29 seasons ago now, but
all right.
That's what just came up when
know what Randy said, 5 assists is bad.
Yes.
5 team total assists.
Good takeaway.
Yeah, that's not good. We got an email here from Blake.
Blake.
While the defense was good on both sides, both teams shot it horribly, and the shot quality had 69-67 Nebraska, which both teams would have been around 1 point per possession. Yeah, yes. I mean, it was good defense and they missed shots. It was good defense and they missed shots. Everyone missed shots. Like I said, Michigan fell perfectly into the trap that Nebraska laid for them. They shot way too many threes in that game. And by way too many, I mean 27 of them. They went 5 for 27 in that game. With that being said, I mean, they were denying things underneath. I mean, for as bad as Michigan was right at point blank range, 1 of 7, Michigan was 3 of 12. Michigan was 1 of 2 on dunks.
Where's on a team? You can set a trap and the animal still gets out of the trap,
You got to have.
It is a Wolverine after all. It's very ferocious.
Yeah. The animal. I don't know that Michigan got out of the trap, Josh. Like that.
They won the game.
Yeah. Yeah. They survived.
Mm-hmm.
But
which is what they've been doing for the last month.
In this analogy, if Nebraska laid a trap, Michigan fell into it. Nebraska just forgot to actually go retrieve the animal from the trap that it got put in.
Hey, he's over there. Yeah, he ain't going anywhere. I'll go get him later.
Yep.
Well, what the hell? The guy's gone.
He's gone. Dave says it wears on a player mentally if others aren't scoring. Yeah, no doubt about it. I don't think they're going to have that bad of an offensive night again. I can't guarantee you that. But the bottom line here is it was a huge missed opportunity. Huge missed opportunity for them. They had a chance to kind of stamp their ticket last night, and nobody else bothered to play any offense besides Brice Williams. So
sad.
Now you live in the great unknown of playing games and bubbles and things of that nature. Not good. Getting dangerous out there. All right, we'll take a break. We'll check in with our good friend Allan Bell coming up next. We'll see what he's up to. What's going on in college baseball? What's going on in
Nerfies?
Nerfies. I wonder if he cares about shot quality stuff. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
Allan Bell, the AB3, on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, we're joined now on the hotline by our good friend, Allan Bell, driving the line. AB, hello. How are you?
Good, sir. We doing all right?
Good. How's the weather down there? It's great here now. We're back.
Yeah, it's nice. We are back. It's 65 here in Nashville. It's real nice,
Ooh.
man.
Josh had he answered the phone. I don't know what it was, but he said to me after he put you on hold, he said, I don't know, it kind of feels like Allan gets a car wash day. I don't know why he said that, but is it true?
Yes, I actually just had one 2 minutes ago.
He strikes me as a guy that washes his car a lot.
Wait, how did you sense that? I don't get that.
Total vibe. Just, it was nothing AB did.
He absolutely nailed that literally 2 minutes ago. I swear to you. Nice job.
We
will not hit a bet better than that today.
Yeah.
We will not do it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I don't know how you smelled that from, we were several hundred miles away. We can't tell if the sun is shining or not in Nashville right now.
I can't, but AB probably gets a lot of car washes.
Yeah, you get a lot of car washes, Allan?
Well, you know what? I probably get more than average.
You got a subscription?
I do. Mr. Car Wash. That's what we use over here. Mr. Car Wash.
Hey, is Nashville like Omaha in that it's just been invaded? Like every time there's a lot somewhere that's open, it's just a car wash that moves in?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, here it's car washes and gun ranges, right? Like that's what it is. And then a gas station. You got all three. Yeah, it's fantastic.
And remind me, what is the gas station of choice down there? What's the most notable gas station?
You know what's made the what's taken over is 7-Eleven.
Whoa.
They have just dude, they have taken over Nashville. Like overnight, I swear to you, like 30 of them popped up. And they look like they're clean, they're nice, like they've done a great job. Man.
A 7-Eleven resurgence. I don't think that I didn't have that one on the books.
Baby. They're back. They get a car wash over there. We're talking business. Man.
Yeah, if they attach a car wash, then all of a sudden you're gonna be a rewards member and everything in between. Okay, so the good weather reminds us all that college baseball is here. I know you guys are throwing out good college baseball bets and watching very closely over the weekends. What are we cooking up for right now? What are we watching?
Yeah, it's a good point, man. So, we're obviously in the first month of the year where just really non-conference games, right? So you got to be careful there. Totals, the books have been putting them pretty high. Generally we look at totals of 11.5, 12.5. I mean, we're seeing 15.5, 16.5 on average. So that's been tough to hit, man, because it's been cold, across the country. But we're seeing teams, that we're in the top 10 that you look at Virginia and Duke, tough starts there. Oregon State had a heck of a start. Vanderbilt here in Nashville, excellent start to the season so far. And Tennessee's been great. They haven't played anybody, right? Hofstra might be one of the worst baseball teams I've ever seen.
Nice.
But they've hit 20 home runs so far, right? The interesting part is that they've only had 2 games that actually went 9 innings. Like it's actually hurting like the young guys in the bullpen that need innings.
Right.
They just run rule everybody.
Yeah, I guess that's a different kind of problem that most teams have. It's like actually we need to play more innings. Tennessee's like, no, we can't. We just win every game 20-2.
And the interesting part is that if anybody's ever seen Tennessee's Park, Lindsey Nelson Stadium, it's beautiful, but it's the shortest field. Like, I'm not even lying. The field that I played on in high school is bigger, right? So it's like, it's a mash fest. You're looking at it like, oh, no, this is very short. Like, this probably needs to be longer.
Tonight, I saw you guys were going through some of these. The game of focus in the NBA will be Luka on his new team hosting his old team, the Dallas Mavericks. This is a late tip-off tonight. Mavericks and Lakers on a game of this magnitude. I assume there's some angles that you want to kind of take with this one. Where are you thinking?
Yeah, okay. So first off, I mean, let's look at what Luka does. He shoots threes, okay? So his prop number for three-pointers made is over 3.5 at -140. Now, your books, you could move that number around. You could take over 4.5 and get it at plus money. You could, drop it down 1 to, over 2.5 and put it in a parlay or something, right? So here's my thought process on it. Luka is gonna fire. Like, I think he shoots at least 10 threes. I'm not saying makes them. I'm saying at least attempts, right? Because look who his coach is. JJ Redick. Like, that guy loves, all right, stick it in somebody's crawl.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Like,
Definitely.
It's the perfect coach for a night like tonight. So Luka's gonna have just the green light all night. But doesn't mean he's gonna make them. I think that looking at somebody like LeBron in terms of rebounds is a good look because Luka's gonna shoot them. If he makes them and you bet on it, awesome. But, yeah, man, like, you're going to get extra rebounds tonight. And I like looking at the opposite side. Klay Thompson over 3.5 threes at, like, plus 130. I bet Klay shoots a ton of them, too, because what the heck else do you have out there besides Kyrie, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I actually like Klay quietly. While everyone bets Luka, bet Klay, and he's going to shoot just as many tonight.
Let me ask you something about college basketball as we get closer and closer to the tournament here. How much do you think about when you're trying to map things out? Obviously there's the styles of the team, there's the matchups and the analytics in between all of that. But something that we find ourselves talking about around here a lot is how much teams and what specific teams are at the mercy of how games are officiated. How do we factor that in to what we're trying to look like? Because you don't necessarily know who the refs are very far out in advance. Like, is there a baseline for what you look at for what you might think and how tightly or loosely games might get called?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question and a great point. And you're right. There's no answer until you know who the refs are. And, you really got to dig and find it, kind of like that day or the day before, right? So it's difficult, man. There's no clear answer on it. I would say this. I mean, just look at, the amount of points off of free throws made or given up, right?
Sure.
To the percentage of total points. But what I look at, honestly, is what I call the Aaron Rodgers effect. So go back to when Aaron Rodgers with the Packers was like on his game, right? Like MVP, the Packers were unbeatable. And what they did is that they didn't score touchdowns every drive, but they got points every drive, right? So what I'm getting at is just efficiency, man. Like, you might have a team that they might not shoot a lot, but they make almost all of their shots, whether it's from deep, whether it's, twos in the paint, or it's from free throws, right? Like, that's where I find that you're going to get yourself, like, you're going to build yourself some leverage there. It's difficult to track, but if you can do it, like, that plays out home, road, on the moon, like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, teams that are efficient, dude, they're really, really tough to beat, man.
Obviously, there's a whole bunch of stats out there that come out right around this time of year where it's like, you can only advance X far in the tournament if if you have the efficiency ratings on both offense and defense of whatever it is. We see all those, and those are about to start flooding your timeline here in the coming days as we get closer and closer to Selection Sunday. But generally, I think about a team like St. John's, who has one of the best defenses in the country, and they're just going to fight you. And they sometimes I feel like they're playing offense just to shoot the ball in the vicinity of the rim so they could potentially get a rebound and put it back, or just get back on defense where they feel like they can win the game there. It's a strange thing, but yet here they are as one of the best teams in the country. Like, what's your handle on a team that's so lopsided offense to defense like that as it pertains to March?
Yeah, look, it can get you far, man. Like, defense can get you. Rick Barnes has done that for a long time, right? Like, he's really never had great offenses, but it only gets you so far as well. Like, at some point, you have to be able to score, and you have to be able to create, because these games, man, always come down to the wire, like once we get to March Madness. And if you can't go out there, like I want to compare St. John's to UConn of like the last 2 years, because defensively they're like that. The mindset is we're just going to fight you, right? However, UConn could also create offense too.
Totally.
So that's the problem, man. It's like if you can't like create it at will, man, you're gonna have problems. You'll get some upsets, but you ain't gonna win a title because you've got to go out and literally have to create an offense, even when the defense isn't giving that to you. Yeah, man. Like it'll get you to Sweet 16, but beyond that, man.
All right, Allan. We'll let you go. Hopefully, you're dry. I know how I feel after I get a car wash after a long, winter, and my car's all salty or whatever it is. Feels great. Feels like a new haircut. Feels like you get a fresh new outlook on life. So enjoy that day, my friend. We'll talk to you later.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. The haircut is perfect. Thanks, boys. Y'all be good.
Allan Bell, Driving the Line. You can check out his stuff there. His best bets of the day. Every single day. You can find him on Twitter and on YouTube. So UConn last year was, yes, they were that kind of defense that was going to fight you. They were also the number one efficiency offense in the country.
Good combo to have.
Well, you remember what happened, right?
They won the tournament.
They were a wagon and they won the national championship.
Who are our top 20 offense and defense teams right now?
Okay. All right. Let's play a little, now the number always like slightly, it got bumped from 20 to 25. And remember, it's like when you enter the tournament. And so these things are a little wavy at this point.
Sure.
Top 20 offenses at the moment. Gosh, is this true? Oh, sorry. I'm looking at last year. I was like, wait, I saw Creighton in there. No, that was last year. Top 20 offenses at the moment: Auburn, Duke, Alabama, Florida, Kentucky, Missouri, Houston, Wisconsin, Gonzaga, Texas Tech, Purdue, BYU, Baylor, Utah State, UConn, Maryland, Clemson, Illinois, Arizona, Villanova. And there will only be a select few of those that are on that list. On defense, Tennessee, the top teams on defense: Tennessee, St. John's, Houston, there's one. Duke, Kansas, Texas A&M, Florida, there's another one. St. Mary's, Iowa State, San Diego State, Auburn, there's another one. Michigan State, UC Irvine, UCLA, Michigan, George Mason, West Virginia, Mississippi, Arizona, and Arkansas. There's only a few of those that were repeats. Top 20 in both at this point. Yeah. Creighton is 29th in defensive efficiency at this point. Top 50 in offense.
You take that.
Oh, yeah. That'll get you somewhere. But balance, I mean, you have to be, in order to be one of those type of teams, obviously you have to be one of the best offensive teams in the country and defensive teams in the country. You could have a way, you're like, what are you? Obviously, if you're Houston, you're like, oh, we're a defensive team. We are oriented toward our defense. St. John's, they're a little bit different because they just have less creation on offense. They're going to be an interesting case study because everybody's looking at them right now and they're like, oh yeah, that team's going out in the first weekend, or that team's going out before they get to, the regional round or the Elite Eight or something like that. And honestly, I can't argue with them. I would point that out too. All right. We'll take a quick break here. We'll come back. The odd news is up on the other side. Don't forget, Jacob Bigelow will still join us at 1:00 and talk more hoops, Nebraska basketball with him. Oh yeah. By the way,
hoops.
Let's do our first giveaway.
First giveaway.
Let's our first and not our only giveaway.
Wow.
Let's do the Supernovas.
Volleyball.
2 tickets to the Supernovas game Thursday, 7 against Orlando at the CHI Health Center. We have 2 tickets for you, and it's very simple. We're not going to make you play some stupid game. Whatever.
We're not gonna roll dice and tell you that it definitely landed on a 3.
We're going the old school way, and then all you have to do is just call in, but you have to be a specific caller.
We don't make you jump through hoops.
Yeah. We got too much stuff on our plate. Josh has got 800 computers in front of his screen.
So many computers.
Just be caller number 3 right now.
Not a single clock in front of my face.
Caller number 3, 951-1620, 402-951-1620. You're going to win yourself into the Omaha Supernovas game on Thursday at 7 against Orlando. 2 tickets for you. Caller number 3, you're our winner. We're back after this with the odd news on 1620 The Zone.
The Connor Happer Show. Follow us on Twitter @Happer Show for all the latest news and views. We may even say something interesting once in a while.
Unlikely.
Really, guys?
Do you like to shoot fireworks? Would you like to get paid to shoot fireworks? J&M Displays wants you. Help shoot an Omaha Storm Chasers game, Memorial Park display, or any of the major shows in Western Iowa and all of Nebraska. If you like to travel, J&M covers Nebraska, Kansas, and most of Missouri. They offer free training and great daily pay rates, which makes it a perfect part-time job. Visit jnmdisplays.com and click the Join Our Team tab to find out more. J&M Fireworks.
Getting your guarantee.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
All right, it's time for the odd news. If we ever randomly stop and look around during the show today, it's because Papa Roach is bothering us.
Oh, is that today?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Papa Roach is in our basement apparently this afternoon. So they're going to be doing some sound checks, I think, over the next couple hours. I don't know. Like, I got to go say hi to Papa Roach.
They don't start till 2, so you're fine.
Yeah, but
I guess you got the crossover.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll go down there during the break and say, "Hey, are you Papa?
You got any? Are you Papa or Roach?
Are you Papa or Roach?
You got any sports takes? You want to come on?
Great question.
Some sports takes?
Yeah. Hey. So the Papa and the Roach.
Jacoby Shaddix would be.
Jacoby Shaddix. How would you? Did
Papa?
you just know that?
Yeah.
Good job by you. Jerry. They have a guy named Jerry.
Oh.
Tobin and Tony. JJ and TT. All right. So just know that, if we ever like, what the heck is going on? It's just Papa Roach, of course, breaching our show.
They're going to turn it up to 11 down there.
Papa Roach gets after it. Mm-hmm. All right. What do we got today, Josh?
Well, an update on somebody who's on my enemies list.
Oh, by the way, congrats to caller 3 who was Mike.
John.
Not
everyone who calls into the show is named Mike.
Well, it's either Mike or John, Josh, or Josh.
That's right.
So congratulations to John for being caller number 3 and going to the Supernovas game on Thursday. Well done. Stay tuned. Mavs tickets coming up later on the show.
Mavs. Don't fight that mojo. Colin Cowherd back from vacation, and apparently the only show prep he did was scroll through Twitter.
Really?
Because he seemed to
have a bone to pick.
Well, in an interview with Rachel Nichols on his on the Herd yesterday, he kept referencing a post.
Oh, did he get Centelled?
He got Centelled, yes. He said, "Yeah, Luka is playing his old team, and they're not going to let anyone wear a Mavs jersey into the game in Dallas on Tuesday." And Rachel, very professionally, just kept bringing up, well, the game's in LA, and the Lakers are really excited to have this influx of interest.
So she knew that he got Centelled, and she
but
was trying to save him.
She was trying to save him,
I think,
by starting a lot of sentences with "in LA on Tuesday."
I just think people if I'm on a sports talk show, and I think Colin has like a decently good sense of humor about himself. Like, I just think you have to grind everything to a halt and be like, Colin, that is from do you know about the fake NBA Twitter account, NBA Centel? It gets everyone, and I'm afraid that you just got, my friend.
You got.
And if he's a normal person, which I don't know, he might be. I haven't, I'm not sure. If he's a normal person, it'd be like, damn it.
It happens.
Let's
move on.
You're telling me I got Centelled?
Oh, man.
And it would be like an all-time moment for the internet, because the internet loves it when their stuff gets into the mainstream.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would not be able to live with myself if I didn't stop the show and be like, you got Centelled, my friend.
You can diffuse it very quickly if you
Absolutely
would like to.
Absolutely.
And if you don't, it ends up on Odd News.
So the NBA Centel tweet was breaking. The Mavericks organization has announced they will ban fans from wearing Luka Doncic jerseys as a way to move forward from him. And then it said via Chris Haynes, but a fake Chris Haynes account as well.
Wow.
So they have
Layers.
this whole tree of fake accounts, so they could just attribute them to their other fake accounts.
And then I saw another one of those accounts is Ballsack Sports. That's the name of the account. Okay.
Yeah.
They rose up on social media yesterday and really wanted to go against misinformation on the internet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Really odd stance for.
Yeah. Now, were they doing a bit?
I don't quite know.
You got Centelled. All right.
We talked yesterday. We brought you the story of A-Rod hitting a half-court shot.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Patrick Mahomes was very involved in the Texas Tech basketball game.
Did you see how shiny his necklace was?
That's right. Have you ever seen Patrick Mahomes argue a call?
Yes.
Now, what if you saw that exact act courtside at a basketball game?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, that's what happened last night. But during one of the TV
timeouts, I
timeouts,
watched that game after the Nebraska game got over, and
you're like, these teams are scoring too quick.
No, but
slow it down.
They weren't. It was Houston. It was Houston and Texas Tech, so you know what they were doing. They were punching each other.
That's right.
It was rowdy in there in Lubbock last night.
Well, Mahomes was in attendance, as many people with his haircut love to sit courtside at a basketball game. Patrick Mahomes hit a 94-foot putt.
He did?
He did.
Oh, I didn't see that.
No.
Did he win a free year membership
I'm
to Omaha to Field Club of Omaha?
No, I'm sorry. A Texas Tech fan, a Red Raider fan.
Oh, I was going to say, how have I not heard about this?
Hit the putt, and Patrick Mahomes
You
was
got
right next to.
Sentel.
I did. I got Sentel. You just acknowledge it and you move on. As chaos ensued following the made putt, the fans sprinted across the court to Mahomes for a midair celebration, and the crowd went crazy.
Absolutely. Oh, so the story here is that Patrick Mahomes celebrated?
Yes.
All right.
Which we've also seen him do quite a little bit in his career.
And we haven't seen Dylon get the haircut yet.
No.
But he does have that. I remember talking about the shininess of his necklace on the show relatively recently. I think he has the same necklace. Everybody's got that necklace these days.
It's a very popular necklace.
Yeah.
We're not saying anything about anything. And then finally, in the odd news today, Connor, Fire Festival is back.
What?
Fire Festival 2.
Are you serious?
Is coming back to not Netflix.
Man, that was a moment in time.
It
the
was.
Firefest guy.
It's coming to Cancun May 30th to June 2nd. And the guy who created Fire Festival and all that ensued afterwards is asking you to buy tickets ranging from $1,400 to $1.1 million with yacht parking.
Okay, so when are they? Or what's the draw?
Well,
what's the headline?
Now here's the thing: Fire Festival is the brand now, is what he says.
Oh.
So while we have not booked any musical acts, you can expect a wide-ranging genre of artists. You'll have some rock artists, some hip hop artists, some some country.
But isn't there a bit that nobody shows up?
Well, this is supposed to be a very straightforward festival that will definitely happen and will definitely have musical acts. The interview I saw yesterday, he even said there might be some extreme sports demonstrations.
Okay. And what's the entry? What's the get-in price?
$1,400 on the low end, $1.1 million on the high end. Now, that does include parking for your yacht, which you will need if you're taking a yacht to Fire Festival 2 in Cancun.
I will not do this.
And the television interview I saw yesterday, the interviewer...
Is it the same guy? I thought he went to jail.
It is the same guy. He is out of jail, but he owes a lot of people a lot of money.
Yeah.
So he's doing Fire Festival too.
Oh, that'll help.
The lady asked him a lot of tough questions, and he didn't do so hot. So she kind of gave him a layup at the end and said, "Can people trust giving you their money?" And he said, "Well, you should never trust giving your money to anyone.
All right.
I've made some mistakes in the past, and Fire Festival 2 is going to be amazing."
Yeah. I hope whoever's dumb enough to give this guy their money again fails miserably.
He missed the bunny, just like Nebrasketball.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
That's the odd news. The noon hour is coming up next on 1620 The Zone.
He gives you the latest sports news, interviews, and life-changing commentary with a smile on his face. Because he wears those ticklish underpants.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Oh, is this song by Papa Roach?
Maybe it's kind of got that
bum 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 bum
crunchy sound.
Dude, what if I went down there right now and just started, like ripping off their songs?
I mean, they'd probably ask you to do the Carrie Underwood song.
They have a Carrie Underwood song?
Yeah, Jacoby did a song with Carrie Underwood.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it Waiting All Day for a Sunday Night?
No, but that I would be interested in hearing.
I don't need any more remixes to Waiting All Day for a Sunday Night, okay? They redid the song this year, and I didn't care for it. Just leave it the same.
Meanwhile, the Monday Night Football theme song is and then Hank Williams comes in, and then Snoop, and then Post Malone. Like, why is this a 7-minute song?
Yeah.
Just have the helmets crash into each other and take me to the field.
Josh, what's your take on Big and Rich? And not what's your take on Big and Rich? What's your take on Coming to Your City by Big and Rich, the former opener of College Game Day?
That is a classic piece of Americana. They should have never changed it.
I agree, but I think they...
Oh, did they have to?
I think they might have had to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or they felt like they had to.
Okay.
But, yeah, they went to some, more kind of like big and epic, like, one of those.
Oh, yeah. I know the exact song you're
it goes exactly like that. I know every word to that song. But they should have never went away from Coming to Your City.
I agree.
Hey, here we go. Sam's got a take on this.
Hi, Sam.
We need to get back to the 1990s Monday Night Football style of song. We're middle-aged now. Give us our cultural hegemony, nostalgia. Dude, I don't know these words. Mr. Milchek, okay? Sam, you're the Mr. Milchek of this show. Hegemony? Maybe, type that word in. What does that mean?
Leadership or dominance, especially by one country or social group over others.
Wow. Yes, give me that. I agree with Sam completely.
The example sentence is as follows, quote, Germany was united under Prussian hegemony.
Yeah, hegemony, probably.
After 1871.
I don't want to be involved in that.
That sounds bad.
But I agree with you, Sam, completely. I agree with you. And guess who is the curator of all of those songs? Actually, we need like we need John Bishop. Like, we need my age John Bishop. That's what we need. Because John Bishop knows he plays all the theme songs from the 80s. We need the ones from the 90s.
I mean,
maybe I have to be the John Bishop of the 90s.
We could just play old TV theme songs like
we could.
Every other show on this station has done at one time or another.
It's fun.
It's a fun game, and it hasn't been played in so long that there's probably a fresh batch we could use.
Yeah. We haven't changed that much.
No.
And the theme songs have just gotten a lot less catchy.
They have.
A lot worse. I thought we were going to see a run on jingles and stuff like that. We certainly definitely have had that on 1620 The Zone.
Yeah, I thought it would span out to other facets of life.
I thought Host Coffee was starting a movement. Happer's Beam Guy writes in, poll question, should Connor Happer embrace his role as the John Bishop of the 90s?
A little wordy. That's not a death nail, though.
A lot less words. A lot less words.
Why say many words when few will do?
Exactly. And that's why I'm mad at Sam. He Mr. Milchek'd us. They gave him his performance review, and he said, uses too many big words. And then all of a sudden, Sam's going to have to look himself in the mirror, and you don't get any of this because it's a Severance joke. It's a Severance reference, Josh. I watch TV shows that you don't watch.
I feel like I'm watching Severance right now because I'm confused.
He looks in the mirror and takes a sentence that he would have used gigantic words in and then just pared it down. It turns out he could have said that word in one sentence. he was trying to convey the message to grow up. Grow. Mr. Milchick said. But he said it in like 14 words.
Help me picture this a little better. Who plays Mr. Milchick?
I don't know his name.
So it's not John Turturro or Christopher Walken.
Correct.
Or Adam Scott.
Correct. Trammell Tillman.
Okay, that didn't help. I'm sorry.
Trammell Tillman, the black guy.
Whoa.
He's the one black guy in the show.
I don't see color.
I was just, you'd be able to identify him.
Okay.
If I showed you this is the guy who's Mr. Milchick, then yeah. AKA Mr. Milkshake.
Because you can't pronounce his name?
No, that's a bit in the show, Josh.
Okay.
See?
Wow, I really got to catch up.
You do.
This is going to be our prestige TV show.
It is. It's too late at this point. It already is.
It's too late. We're in season 2. It'll be 9 years before season 3 comes out.
No. They're going to this smells like a show where they do maximum 4 seasons.
That's right, Connor. I'm holding up 4 fingers.
I am absolutely fine with that, by the way. You can wrap up your story and get whatever you need to say said by 4 seasons. I don't think there'll be any problem with that. Everyone will be fine with that.
And then Adam Scott can go and be funny again. Ben Stiller can continue to not be funny. He was at one time, but he's no longer funny.
Debo gets it. He's commenting in.
Grow.
All right. I'd like to introduce you to an incredible public address announcer.
Okay.
Josh. Hi, I'm Connor Happer. I'm just kidding. So, Prairie View A&M, they're playing Mississippi Valley State last night. Banger of a matchup.
Classic matchup
in the SWAC. And, they don't get, you'll be able to see this on YouTube if you're watching along with us. They don't get many people at their games.
Understatement.
And so they feel as if they need to artificially manufacture excitement. So we'll leave you to be the judge. Josh, you could judge as well. Do you think that they've maybe gone too far with trying to manufacture excitement?
They are 5-23 this year, for the record.
Here, let's take a look. If you're watching along with us on YouTube, and if you're listening along with us on the radio, you will easily be able to tell what we are drawing attention to here.
He'll stop and spot for the three-point shot. Looks good, yeah.
Bush shooting at 50% from the three-point line tonight.
Donald Carroll.
How? So what the voices that you were supposed to be hearing were the broadcasters.
That was the female that came in towards the end of the clip.
The other noise that you heard was not the broadcasters. That was the public address. Okay. So it's one thing to do that. And we've seen versions of that everywhere.
Probably held it a little too long.
You're
doing a thing. That's fine.
I don't have a problem with holding it. But they felt the need to throw the ham horn on top, which I am a huge fan.
You love a ham horn.
Individually of the ham horn. I'm more wondering how they got the echo on the guy. They echoed him at the end. Pointer. I don't know how they did that.
Yeah.
Now that people's ears are prepared for this right away, let's go ahead and watch again.
He'll stop and spot for the three-point shot. Looks good, yeah.
Bush shooting at 50% from the three-point line tonight.
Donald Carroll.
So you could just say three-pointer, you can hold it as long as you want, but you don't have to say is good afterwards. That makes it sound sarcastic, as Josh can attest to.
It does. People will misunderstand what you mean. I mean, the play is still going. The next play, I guess, is going on. Like, they're already back on the other side by the time he's done and wrapped it up.
It's very possible that in a fast-paced offense, the other team could have actually scored by the time that the call was over. Jeff writes in.
Hi, Jeff.
I imagine Hap will be doing this at the women's games now. No, they don't have the technology to echo me or put the ham horn on me, I don't think. I don't know what Prairie View A&M's got going on down there, but they got a lot of stuff at their fingertips. Venmo Chris writes in, I want that extra AF type of PA at every game forever. That was beautiful. That was not beautiful.
Oh.
That was not beautiful. I don't know if we're doing a bit here. That was not good.
So we don't like this.
No, God, no. This was horrible. It was very funny to listen to, but it was horrendous on the ears.
It's about 15% too much.
I
need you to dial it back, which I often say, I'd rather rein you in than push you out.
Yeah, but Josh, like in-game production at these basketball games, you know, we've decided to throw a lot at the fans. We've decided to throw a lot at the fans these days. There's the PA guy, he's doing stuff. There's the wacky, crazy MC guy who's telling people to get up out of their seats, otherwise they will be removed from the arena or something like that. We're making them do chants. We're playing weird sounds and noises, making them do clap-alongs and stuff like that. Like,
and now
there's a
lot
for
chicken.
We're throwing a lot at the fans these days. And so you really got to pick your spots. And I would say the exact antithesis of picking your spots is doing that after every single time Prairie View A&M makes a three-pointer.
I would just... Now, I know a lot of these schools like Prairie View A&M, they don't have like big athletic budgets.
No, but they did have enough money to do the ham horn.
Yeah, where are we getting all this? I mean, it's got to be one guy.
You just run it through the
soundboard.
Yeah, you run it through the soundboard, you run it through the DJ system or something like that. I imagine it's just it's the PA guy and they put him at a DJ booth and he just, starts hammering buttons every time they make a three.
I mean, Prairie View A&M did snap a 10-game losing streak last night, so
whoa,
there was reason to celebrate.
Well, Mississippi Valley State, they're routinely the team that doesn't win any games every year, right?
That rings a bell.
They are currently 3-25 this year. They were able to beat Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Oakwood, and MUW this year, whatever the hell that means. Last year they went 1-30. Year before that they went 5-27. Year before that they went 2-26. Year before that they went 2-22. That's back to COVID times now. Yeah.
Prairie View A&M did play DePaul this year.
Remember
Chicago?
Well, there was a year not that long ago, and Nebraska played Mississippi Valley State. I think it was the year that Nebraska was like they won 22 games, but they didn't make it to the NCAA tournament because their strength of schedule wasn't good enough. And they went back and did the math, and the fact that they played Mississippi Valley State, or maybe it was Delaware State or something like that hurt their metrics badly. I can't remember what team it was. Maybe it was Mississippi Valley State. Maybe it was one of those other teams. But yes, tough look. Mike says the MUW is the Mississippi University of Women, where men actually do go to school there. I didn't know that. It's the first time I'm hearing about this right now. I didn't know about that.
I always thought Sarah Lawrence was an all-women's college, and apparently it's not.
Interesting. All right, so there's what not to do on the if you ever find yourself as the PA guy.
I have a few times found myself as a PA guy.
Josh will just randomly find himself in situations.
Look, if you need a guy, I'm never the guy, but if you need like, hey, our guy is out, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it for a night.
You said yes to a job tomorrow. Are you doing this job
tomorrow?
Oh, no. I'm sorry. You said yes to a job for the next next Creighton home game. Yeah,
the Butler game.
And you're doing this, right?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Are you coming tomorrow to shadow?
I don't know. Probably not.
All right, so you're going to go in cold.
I mean, you're just plugging stuff in, right?
Hey, it ain't my job, Josh.
Well, now you've scared.
I would assume it's just plugging stuff in, but I don't know. I would imagine that you are a smart guy and you'll be able to figure some stuff out. But I don't know. Maybe you don't have a lot of confidence in yourself from a technological standpoint.
Oh, I have very low confidence in my tech skills. I'll be completely upfront with everyone about that.
I mean, Theo did ask ChatGPT yesterday who was the best at electronics, and it was you. So maybe you are the right guy for the job.
That's why I hated that ChatGPT did that.
Yeah, they got it so wrong.
Mhm.
All right, returning production. Returning production, Josh. It's out
At Prairie View A&M men's basketball?
No.
Oh, okay.
We have not tracked that for this year.
Yet.
Oh, I'm sure somebody has. Bill Connolly is, this is the first step to SP Plus. So I think that'll happen in the coming days, maybe weeks.
Coming day? Wow.
Yeah.
So we're kind of
the first edition of SP Plus is coming soon.
We're rounding a corner.
I would say we're moving into, if we phase out the off season, where would you put the gaps? Where would you put the breaks? Right. So day the season ends, or I guess let's just say you get clear of the national championship game, right? The first, but the off season really starts after the regular season.
Yeah.
Right. Even though there's so many more college football games after the regular season now. So I guess it's like 1A kind of, right? Day your regular season ends until the national championship game. That's kind of off season 1A. There's the portal is in there. That's a big time, right? So the next phase after that would be kind of the dead zone. I don't know if there'd be a label for it or what we should call it, but it's kind of a dead zone, right? Between, the end of the end of the national championship game in the second week of January, third week of January, whatever it is now, until spring ball starts. Some things happen there. People start talking about what the playoff is going to look like. And there's some lists and there's some way too early top 25s, but very little movement. And then there's basically spring ball until, I don't know, July.
Yeah.
Spring ball until July. Not much happens in there, but there is at least some spring ball. There's another transfer portal window. You'll start to see some, more in check, more in-depth previews. Maybe some coaches will retire or something like that. And then June, July, I think Phil Steele always has a countdown on when he goes to presses with his magazine. It's like June, middle of June, like College World Series time. It's basically right around that time until the start of the season. That's the official ramp up to the season. That's when people
on-ramp.
That's when people get nervous. All right, so we're in phase either 1 or 2 right now, whatever you want to look at it. Anyway, in phase 2, the returning production charts from Bill Connolly have come out. We have 136 FBS teams now, Josh. I'd like to say hello to our friends from Delaware and Missouri State who have joined the crew this year. 136 teams in FBS football.
Go Blue Hens.
And Nebraska ranks on the list, drum roll please, 50th.
50.
It's so high that you can't get mad at it, and it's so low that you can't get mad at it. And what does it mean at the end of the day? 30th in returning production on offense, 74th in returning production on defense. And then he did, he did a pretty good breakdown for what the SP Plus will like, what it factors in. I think people kind of just look at the numbers. And they don't really care about the methodology with it anymore. They're just like, yeah, just give me the number. What are we ranked? And is it low enough to where I'm going to get mad at it? So it's been quite the process for college football nerds over the last several years. How are we going to factor in transfers? What are we going to do? How are we going to weigh positions and things like that? So here's the current weighting for determining the offensive the offensive percentages for the returning numbers. Returning percent of offensive line snaps is 40% over the overall number. Wide receiver tight end yards, 35% of the offensive number. Quarterback passing yards, 22% of the offensive number. And percent of returning rushing yards is 3% of the offensive number. And he explained that he doesn't necessarily do this because it feels like it's the positions that he thinks matter most on a football field, but it's been proven over the years that these are the things that impact winning at the highest level, which I felt like was really interesting. So once again, with that in mind, let me repeat those. The biggest weight of what your returning production number is going to look like on offense goes to the offensive line. How many offensive line snaps are you going to get back? Then wide receiver and tight end yards. Then quarterback passing yards, which you would think like, hey, Penn State, for example, they have Drew Aller coming back and they have almost all of their passing yards coming back. Like they should be really high in returning production numbers because they simply bring that guy back and he passed for a lot of yards last year. Has proven over the years that isn't necessarily the most important thing that factors into success on offense. Basically, I think what the inference here is, unless your quarterback is one of the top guys in the sport and you have a significant drop off the year after, that quarterbacks are generally kind of, they live in this middle zone. They're sort of replaceable. So it's interesting to apply those ideas to Nebraska. And you say, well, Nebraska has a returning quarterback. They get every single one of their passing yards back, I guess. Heinrich Harburg is back as well. He passed for some yards last year, but
people forget
he's, Nebraska gets 100% of their quarterback passing yards back. They don't get quite as many as their offensive line snaps back, but they're still 30th in returning production going into this year. And then obviously, the other part of that's factored into this number for offense is the returning running back rushing yards, of which Nebraska is going to have about half of them from Emmett Johnson, Dante Dowdell, more than half of them, right, from last year. But that's only responsible for 3% of the number that goes into the offense. That impacts winning at a very low level. What they're saying is the running backs are replaceable.
Wow, sad.
Factor that in with what Nebraska has done at that position and our complaints about it, my complaints about it over the last couple of years, which is it just doesn't seem like it's really, it doesn't seem like it's really emphasized. I'd like to see Nebraska, highlight that position more, get a guy at the position, just hand him the ball and that person could get 1,000 yards. Well, Nebraska's strategy on this reflects what the SP Plus number, the methodology in the SP Plus number and the returning yards number, which is it doesn't impact winning all that much. You can find replaceable guys. You could find guys to put in those positions, which was counterintuitive to sort of how I thought about. I know what the trend in the running back position has been in college football and NFL and in the pros recently. And I understand that it's been de-emphasized, but the numbers sort of bear that out as well. Defensively, Nebraska is 74th. They get 53% of their returning production back. So here's how it's factored in on defense. 66% of the number is just snaps, 19% of the number is tackles, and 15% of the number is returning tackles for loss. Obviously, Nebraska loses a majority of those from last year when you include their defensive line and then, John Bullock and Mekhi Bear, that's factored into that equation. But they'll get a whole bunch of snaps back as well from guys who played a variety of those positions last year, and then some tackles as well. Overall, Connolly notes that returning production is lower than ever in 2025. He says, I've been collecting returning production data since 2014, but between the rapid increase in transfers and the bonus eligibility year associated with the COVID season, the situation has consistently changed as of late. So have the returning production averages. Since 2021, when the returning production totals peaked due to the immediate effects of bonus eligibility, the national average have sunk by 23% or 23 percentage points, starting with a significant drop in 2022. And interestingly, another solid decline this past offseason. I don't think it's particularly hard to figure out why, because there was a lot of coaches who at the end of the season said, here's your deal, man. You're probably not going to be on our 105 if our season started today. And they took a hike and they went into the transfer portal. Other teams will wait until later to tell their respective extra players on their roster to take a hike. for a variety of different reasons. So the returning production average overall, just under 54% overall of the numbers that I explained earlier coming back this year. 54% of the offense, 53% of the defense. If you compare that to Nebraska's averages, they're getting 68% of their offense back, which is above national average by quite a bit, and 53% of their defense back, which is right basically on the number. 60% overall, which is a little above the national average for what others bring back.
Above average.
Above average in returning production. So I want to sort of parlay this into another topic, and it goes back to something that Sam said yesterday, and Nebraska trying to kind of find their own edge in this sort of undefinable quality, and how that might work, and functionally applying that to Nebraska. So we could come back with that, or we could save that for a little bit later on. But let's take a break here. We'll be back. Want to hear from you guys, of course, 402-951-1620. And we'll take your thoughts all throughout the show today. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
All right, lovely day outside, which means probably a good time. Oh, look, there's a Cybertruck driving down Dodge right now.
They stick out.
They do, Josh. I wonder if the person driving that Cybertruck, if there was a person driving it, just saw Mount Happer. Let's get a Mount Happer update. It is dwindling rapidly. It is right now, it appears to just be a pile of gravel and rocks with a little bit of a snow base.
Okay.
It's quite small.
Now I'm looking at my my records here of Mount Happer.
Yeah. John Bishop
said Friday.
John Bishop said it would be gone on Friday, and nobody else predicted anywhere close. Ladies and gentlemen,
Josh
as much
P. said Saturday.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, okay, they'll have to duke that one out, but
why he picked a day when none of us would be here, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he picked March 1st for just a date that came to his head.
Mm-hmm.
But Josh knows about dates. Anyway, John's going to be right. This thing is going to be gone.
Is it going to make it to Friday?
I don't think it's going to make it to Friday. So, to be determined if it comes back. I'll let other people make those predictions. Not for me.
Not for Connor.
Not for me. But as for today, we just enjoy the lovely, lovely weather. Before we get to the other things that I have planned for this segment, a quick update from Georgetown basketball. They have an announcement that they'd like to make. Thomas Sorber, who had a heck of a game, and it's had a heck of a freshman season, but had a really good game, obviously, against Creighton the first time around back in December. The very, very promising freshman big. He left the game, of course, last Saturday, the 15th, and it's been his playing status has been uncertain since. Of course, he hasn't played since he left that game. Georgetown has just announced that he will undergo surgery tomorrow, and a full recovery is expected, but he will be out for the remainder of the season.
You hate that.
Thomas Sorber has helped lead Georgetown to a 7-9 record in conference, kind of in the middle. Like, are we maybe kind of a bubble team if we could pull off some wins here down the stretch? They do have opportunities against UConn and Marquette coming up back to back, but it's going to be very difficult for them without their star freshman. In the middle zone is Georgetown, but I don't know. They're making strides. Ed Cooley and them boys, and of course, we respect Ed Cooley, maybe more than any other show that's ever existed.
I mean,
definitely more than Providence shows.
Yeah, definitely outside of the DC area, we're the number one respect Ed Cooley show in America.
You think so?
I would think so.
I would probably even say, including the DC area,
in parts of DC, yes,
we have the most respect for Ed Cooley. It is a requirement in the Big East that you have to have respect for Ed Cooley. Luckily, it is not a requirement for other coaches in this league. Other coaches who call you bald and say that they have 2 rings. 2 rings, Baldy.
2 rings, Baldy.
Still the line of the year.
Or other coaches who take you out to dinner and never call you again.
I love that guy, though. I do. He can't. He talked about it again, about killing himself again.
I want to kill myself, jump in the cold and die of frostbite.
Every time he's asked about losing or like the potential of losing, and he just says, "I want to kill myself."
We got to check on Rick Pitino.
Is he okay?
If you know Rick Pitino, just send him a text like, "Hey man, thinking of you."
He'll probably respond with some weird text about Mark Pope or something like that. But
tell Mark Pope I love him.
Every time this guy gets the opportunity to talk about how he wants to kill himself, he does it. Every time.
It's concerning.
It is. I am worried. I'm worried about it.
Like I want to kill myself, jump in the cold and die of frostbite.
Iowa football has done a tweet.
Iowa football? Oh no, what are they up to?
Mark your calendars. Saturday, April 26th. Open spring practice.
Now
More
Iowa
info to come.
Iowa, I don't know what they've done. I believe that they have traditionally been one of the programs who just they maybe do an open practice like in Des Moines, or they do something on the road.
That rings a bell.
To showcase their team, and then they have maybe an open practice at the end of it. But gosh, I don't. They have never really used that as a fan, thing, or as a moneymaker.
Because I mean, the hell kind of show would that be?
I don't know. I mean, people love Iowa football, Josh.
Sure.
People would show up and watch Iowa football.
Sure. They're consistent. They win a lot of games.
Iowa fans are obsessed with Iowa football. They love Iowa football.
Absolutely.
So yeah, there's this trend where everybody's canceling their spring games, and Iowa says, actually, you know what? We have never had a spring game, but we're going to do one now.
It's a spring practice.
Yeah. Spring practice. It just gives you the safety net of,
we don't have to have a game here.
It's like we can stop this at any point in time if we really need to.
We don't have to go 100%.
All right, that's interesting.
It's just when I'm scrolling social media right now, I'm very aware of these teams tweeting these things with their graphics. What are they doing?
This has become, for whatever reason, a weird hot button issue across the country, and I don't
get it.
I don't know why,
but I'm definitely noticing it. Like Louisville will have a spring game.
Yeah,
this year.
Like what? Why is this such a? We haven't really talked about this yet.
Sorry, I don't know what we were going to talk about.
No,
here.
It's fine. This is good. Why is this of national note to everybody? If you are not doing spring games, our priorities have gotten way out of whack.
I mean, what does everybody think of the state of the game, right? Like confirmation bias. Texas isn't having a spring game, so I was right when I said 100%. That spring games are stupid.
Yeah, I definitely think it's one of those things where people are like, well, college football is broken and ruined and NIL, and I'm mad at everything. And now look at what they're doing. They're canceling spring games. You never cared about spring games.
No.
You never cared. You never cared. It's a shame to see what they've done to our spring games.
Look how they massacred my boy.
I don't know anybody who's super like, I love the spring game. And people show up to the spring game, especially at a place like Nebraska, because you just put anything in the stadium on a Saturday and they're like, yeah, hell yeah. Wait a minute. Football's involved? Absolutely. Sign me up. I'm in.
Sure. I'll be there.
Yeah. And of course, Nebraska fans have done it better than just about anybody else in the country. And even they said, no, thank you. We're done with spring games now.
Good.
But this is weirdly like somebody must have a document somewhere that's keeping track of all of the spring games that are either happening or not happening.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be
Is Sicko's committee on this?
Yeah, it's got to be an on-3 graphic somewhere.
On, off.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, look, they put googly eyes on mascots.
All right, quick one here from Stephen M. Sipple today.
Hi, Stephen M. Sipple.
Sipple chatted with Dane Key, Nebraska's potentially top wide receiver for next year. Certainly their most productive.
Dane Key, Nebraska's potential top wide receiver. Dane Key.
Exactly. That's who we're talking about here. He asked him, hey, why are you here? Why'd you come to Nebraska? Well, he said about Kentucky, quote, it was time to leave. Don't know what that means.
Yeah.
But he just said it was time to leave. So why are you here? I'd say, quote, what brought me here was the quarterback. Referring to, of
Heinrich
course,
Harburg.
Dylan Raiola. And so that's why Dane Key has showed up. He said, Key said about Raiola and their sort of chemistry during this time, I told Dylan the game's going to slow down for him now. Key said Key, sounding like a veteran. I told him he's going to skyrocket even more. I do feel like there does need to be a little bit of that. There does need to be a little bit of like, hey, Dylan, I know last year was hard for you, but you're going to be okay. I feel like that has been a roadblock for a lot of quarterbacks that have played as freshmen at Nebraska. After their first year, they're just like, oh my God, this is really hard. I feel like I've been here for 5 years. I feel like I'm aging like the president ages, all of those things. And I think last year could not have been, probably wasn't easy for Dylan Raiola. So it's good to see, another wide receiver come in here who's been good at other places and say, hey, look, you are still a draw. That's helpful. Now, obviously, Dylan needs to reciprocate that and all of those things. And he probably needs to stop doing TikToks.
I mean, that's what I'm saying when I criticize him showing up to quite literally every high school basketball game in Omaha. And this is a bi-weekly occurrence now at this point for him. Like, just it will go poorly for you if you don't. We're going to come back around on this if you don't.
Oh, I mean, people are we're already doing the Mahomes thing big time. Yeah. People are already having a lot of fun with that. Josh writes in on YouTube.
Josh.
Dane mispronounced, quote, the money. That's pretty big deal, I'd say.
It's a part of it.
They got their wide receivers coach, too, from last year. Speaking of which,
the shorts man.
We'll get to meet the shorts man.
We get to meet the shorts man.
The shorts man will be speaking tomorrow.
Whoa.
Tomorrow during the show at 11:30, which probably means, now that I think about it, that we won't probably talk to Mitch at the time that we usually talk to him.
I love talking to Mitch.
We'll have to move him back.
Okay.
Wide receiver coach DeKeel Shorts, outside linebackers coach Phil Simpson, and associate head coach Phil Snow will be available to the media tomorrow to talk about things. They'll be available for 10 minutes each. And then next week, we'll be able to talk to Terry Braden, Mike Eckler, and Addison Williams. And then the next week, there will be a pre-spring press conference with head coach Matt Rule and 2 to 4 selected players. And then all of a sudden, it's spring ball. Then we move into the next phase, Josh. Nebraska's spring practice is set to start March 24th, a week from yesterday, and its pro day will be set for the day after that, March 25th. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll round out the hour. Don't forget, Bigelow will join us at the top. Still want to hear from you all, of course, as well. By the way, before we do so, let's do another giveaway.
Connor, another giveaway.
I just feel like we've had a bad show today, and we need to reward people for being here. Thank you for being here and sticking through all my garbage.
Wow, imagine having to put up with garbage,
yes,
but being rewarded for it, unlike Nebraska basketball.
Nice. We have 4 tickets to the Mavs hockey game on Friday, 7 o'clock against Arizona State. That is the Omaha Mavericks, of course. 4 tickets to Mavs hockey, Friday, 7 o'clock, Arizona State. 4 tickets, which means caller number 4 gets to win those tickets right now. 402-951-1620. Once again, 402-951-1620 caller number 4 gets 4 tickets to the Mavs game on Friday against Arizona State. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
Upon further review, the host's last statement was deemed to be somewhat comical. Somewhat. The Connor Happer Show returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone.
Your new year starts here as a member at Croc Center Omaha. Healthy habits are made easy at the Croc thanks to a full range of activities. Free weights, fitness classes, an indoor water park, pickleball courts, and more. And right now is the perfect time to join. Sign up before the end of February and celebrate the Croc Center's 15th anniversary with membership discounts. The Croc Center is just moments away from the Kennedy Freeway and Q Street. Go to omahacroc.org for more information. That's omahakroc.org.
Here's another Energy Media radio station you may want to put in your presets. Check out Sweet 98.5, Omaha's workday favorites for hits from the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and today.
We got to take more of the winning callers on air so we can do the bit where we turn them into promos later, like the FM stations.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us which station made you a winner.
1620 The Zone.
Oh, my God. I love 1620 The Zone. We got to do that, Josh. We need liners. You know, you're the director of audio. You know this.
I got something in my demo reel. I had a demo reel.
You had a demo reel?
Yeah, and I'd
like to hear it.
It was me giving away tickets to see Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah.
And this lady called in and she won, and she gave me gold. She goes, I'm so excited. I will come over there and I will. And I like, whoa. I had to stop in because I had to cut her off because I'm like, I don't know what she's about to say. We're on the radio.
Oh,
here.
man. You could have had that recording forever.
I know. I do. I have it somewhere.
Yeah, but like whatever she would have said on the other side. I'll come over there and I will what?
I don't know.
But you could have bleeped it out to use on a promo later.
Yes, that might have been funnier.
You got to think about the long term.
Mm-hmm.
That's why whenever like Random Mike or Nebrasketball Mike calls, I just like kind of sit back and I just let him cook.
Mm-hmm.
And just in case there's anything in there, we need that audio to be clean.
Need
it to be clean.
Any huffing or puffing or audible eye rolling.
Well, Random Mike hasn't called yet and asked Nebraska to go to the NIT instead of the NCAA tournament.
It's the Crown. We're calling it the Crown now.
I'm sorry, the Crown. The Crown. And they would be eligible to be selected for the Crown, right? Because
yes.
they're a Fox team.
Yeah, a Fox team.
Is it just Big Ten and Big East teams in the Crown?
There's one more conference in there. I can't remember which one.
Mountain West.
So I can't Google the Crown because then that Netflix show is going to come up.
What is the college basketball crown? Everything to know about the postseason tournament.
That's what we want. Everything we need to know.
The tournament will feature schools from the Big 10, Big 12, and Big East, in addition to at-large participants. Two teams that did not participate for the NCAA tournament will be eligible for the event, with 2 automatic qualifiers coming from each participating conference. Additional teams chosen by a selection committee.
16 teams.
16 teams at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, a very lovely building, and the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. It'll be on Fox and FS1. Okay, so yeah, you could be in the crown. If you
could be in, that's how the call goes. You can be in the crown.
You can be in the crown. I was people have been doing a lot of thinking lately about, by the way, did I just summon random Mike? We're about to find out. Doing a lot of thinking lately about the NCAA tournament sites and where some of our local teams might be located and which direction they are headed for the NCAA tournament. Did I successfully summon him? Interesting. So anyway, Nebraska, as we mentioned earlier, after their loss last night to Michigan, in which they only scored 46 points, they are currently, according to Joe Lunardi and Joe Lunardi only's bracketology, they are in the play-in game in Dayton as part of the last 4 in against Oklahoma. If they win that, they would make the trip from Dayton to Cleveland.
Long haul.
Yeah. And play Marquette in the look at that little, if that pod ends up being true in Cleveland, Marquette, Nebraska, Wisconsin would all be right in that little zone right there.
There's some juicy stuff in that little four.
If you're a local, if you're Nebraska or Creighton or Omaha for that matter, what is your site ranking? Are you trying to end up in Denver? Are you trying to end up in Wichita? Are you trying to end up in Milwaukee?
Depends on what's the most important to you, right? Like Wichita's closest. I mean, Denver is probably maybe the most fun of those cities. Lunardi has Creighton and Omaha in Lexington, but in different brackets, so they would run into each other.
That would probably be the next closest.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going for the close. I mean, like Wichita is the closest, but I don't know that I want to be in Wichita.
Yeah, I don't want to hang out in Wichita for 72 hours.
I hung out in Wichita for 72 hours once. I went to a friend's wedding there. It was lovely. I saw a lot of the town. I found myself enjoying it. I found myself at the end of the weekend saying that this is Wichita-some. And maybe the same could be true for you if Nebraska ends up or if Creighton ends up in Wichita.
I drive through Wichita often in the fall.
Yeah, but you don't get to see Wichita.
I don't. Just whatsoever alongside the interstate.
You don't get to experience all that Wichita has to offer.
Probably been to the McAllister's Deli in Wichita.
And Creighton was just in Denver a couple years ago.
Yeah,
you kind of just
mix it
did
up. That's
that.
part of it, right?
But Denver's definitely always good. Milwaukee.
Milwaukee would be serviceable.
Power rank them for me if you want to.
Providence and Seattle probably towards the bottom, right?
Yeah. Not interested. I mean, Seattle, I'm interested to go, but it's just very hard, very difficult to get to. Providence, even more so, probably. That would be last on the list. All right, here he is. Random Mike joins us now. Mike, what do we think?
You persuaded me, but so there's the NIT and another even better tournament?
I don't know. I don't know if I'd call it better, but it is another tournament.
Okay, before I forget, and I think either or both of you guys can help me with this. The amount of money Nebraska, the athletic department, will get by canceling Tennessee and having the additional game or whatever is roughly how much? I know it's in the 7 figures, but do you have a figure? What that means to Nebraska?
It requires too much math for my tiny pea brain. So if you go off of the fact that they get $8 million a home game, and they're without, they get they get an extra home game for that year, but you're also trying to offset what you're not getting because the stadium is under construction and you're reducing capacity by 20% during that period of time. I don't know what the number comes out to, but somebody else I'm sure has done the math out there.
Yeah. Josh, you don't have a more specific figure?
Oh, no. My brain's even tinier than Connor's.
Okay. So, but is it fair to guess maybe 2 to 3 million, maybe 4? I mean, it's a substantial figure, right? It's not just $1 million.
Well, they're going to make money off of an extra home game. They also have to pay Tennessee $1 million to get out of the 2 games.
Right, I understand. You got to subtract $1 million from whatever it is, but from what you're telling me, my guess is it's $3-4 million, something like that. I mean, well over $1 million.
Yeah, but then they're also yes, definitely over $1 million. Yes,
and at some point, as one of a famous centers said, billion here, billion there. Pretty soon, you're talking real money. So I mean, it's totally understandable in that respect. If it's a really substantial figure, not close to it. I mean, I'm pissed off, and I don't like reneging on it. But we did change it for them, and I realize it's all different. But another thing I need your guys' advice on. I've been thinking about what a great coach John Cook was. I mean, seriously. And every time I think of that, I think of Sam McEwen and his historic apology for suggesting otherwise.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah. And, but here's the thing. The letters EDMF mean anything to you guys?
EDMS?
ED. I mean, that's rather well known.
Every day.
But it's MF. As far as John Cook. The connection between that and John Cook.
I don't know. I know that they've always done that. I don't know. I never knew what it meant. What is it? Well, can you actually say the F part?
So you don't know what it meant, and I didn't either. But I mean, there's you obviously mentioned. Here's the thing: so this was their practice championship belt. Kind of like the wrestlers and the fighters have. A great way to encourage for the best practice player. So I heard his daughter talking about it either during a game or some interview, and I really like her. And if you notice, she'll hold him to task, ask him questions that are kind of uncomfortable that even Baylor won't ask. And he respects her obviously, but she said that he had an expression during practice. If somebody made a great play, he said, "Yeah, you're playing like an MFer."
Nice. I would assume that's what the MF means. Yes.
Okay, so he was asked, obviously, when word came out about this championship belt, well, what does it stand for? And his first response was, "Well, that's top secret. We can't talk about it."
Okay, so he just doesn't want to say the F word.
Whatever. Then later on, he amended that to everyday Michaela Fecchi.
Okay.
So that was his way of talking. But here's what I'm getting at. The other day, I called the morning show, and the last thing I said was, "Hey, Matt, I want you to know your hiring is biblical." I don't know if you heard me say that.
I didn't. Well, why did you say that?
Okay, it's biblical. In the book of Isaiah, as it is written, and a child shall lead them. That's what I said. I thought that was kind of nice, but maybe it was inappropriate because it didn't get a response.
Wow!
Did I go too far saying that?
No, I think that's funny. I think that's pretty funny. I don't think he likes being called a child, though.
He's very aware of it.
It's a touch point.
But he hears it, and you got to joke, right? And it's a bold hiring. I mean, I can't remember a guy hired literally right out of school in a position like that, and it's quite a compliment to him. And he's a talented guy. But I was also going to end it with, "God loves you, and so do I. Now sin no more, you MFers."
Would have been a great line, Mike. Would have been a great line.
My question was, would that be inappropriate to say that, given what Coach Cook puts on his championship belt?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you abbreviate it, I think people understand it, and you can get away with it.
That's what I'm asking. What are the limits here? Because when I mentioned that Severe named me, and you said he named you, I said, well, he spread it with some a-hole caller, so I said a-hole, and you guys like that. So I guess I'm wondering what's allowed and what's not. But I guess the initials, because you hear this F all the time.
Yeah, the abbreviation masks it enough for our liking.
Exactly. And I just wanted to confirm it. But hey, that's all I got. Take care, buddy.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Not at all what I thought was going to happen.
No.
That was a random Mike call, ladies and gentlemen.
So no, I don't think anyone had him talking about volleyball practice belts.
No.
That one was off the board.
Like LD or LGFM. Let's go bleeping Mets.
Oh yeah.
Or
yeah.
Whatever. RDJ. Roll damn J's.
That's right. People say that.
It's better when it's shortened that way.
It is.
RDMFJ. You know what that means.
Oh, little message in there.
Well, yeah, it's no secret, as Random Mike just so eloquently explained. And he did not have any takes on the NIT, interestingly enough, today. All right.
I thought he was going to say that. I thought he was winding his way around to, hey, whatever shortfall we're making from this football Tennessee fiasco, we can make up with Nebraska having a deep NIT run. I thought that's where he was going. But
yeah, how much money do you think they make in playing an NIT or Crown game at home? Like none. They actually probably lose money off of that. Yeah. All right, we'll be back. Jacob Bigelow will join us on the other side on 1620 The Zone.
Hi, it's me, producer Josh, director of audio for 1620 The Zone. It's my duty to inform you that if you watched Nebraska basketball last night, you could be entitled to financial compensation. When watching a basketball game, it is a reasonable expectation that both teams combine to score more than 100 points. You didn't ask to be subjected to subpar basketball last night. That's 2 hours of your life that you are never getting back. Someone's got to pay, and that someone is Troy Dannon, Fred Hoiberg, and Jawan Gary. If you're interested in joining a class action lawsuit with the intention of creating a structured settlement, call 1-800-SCORE-MORE. That's 1-800-SCORE-MORE. Take back your life with 1620 The Zone.
He's
heating up. That's the country song, right? Remember when?
Thank you. Jacob Bigelow.
Yeah. Whenever my open is concocted, throw that in there.
He's on fire!
Jacob Bigelow, Huskers Illustrated, on the Connor Happer Show, on 1620, The Zone.
Boom shakalaka!
Oh, there wasn't many boom shakalakas last night. No, not at all. There was only 6 boom shakalakas. Well, at least from 3. And 4 of them were by Brice Williams. Jacob Bigelow joins us now on the hotline. Hi, Jacob. Good afternoon. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. It's like there were just 6 boom shakalakas. Is that like the basketball equivalent of the Costco guys? Like, is that how they rate basketball games?
Yeah,
like,
last night on the
boom shakalakas.
Last night on the boom meter, I think it would have got 2 dooms probably instead of booms.
A lot of doom at Pinnacle Bank Arena last night, and a lot of doom on the internet today, depending on where you look.
Yeah,
very normal time.
That's where I get hung up a little bit. Like it was bad and it was a missed opportunity. And your road is a little more narrow, obviously, to the NCAA tournament at this point. Your margin for error is going away. I don't know that I'm like, I don't know that I'm down in the dumps about what's going to happen going forward. That's the whole thing with the roller coaster, right, Jacob? You don't know what's going to happen on any given night with this group. You just got to be on the roller coaster forever.
Absolutely. It is a roller. I mean, would you rather be at this point of the season if you're a Nebraska basketball fan and be 7-17 and you know that the season's over and there's nothing to play for? Hell no. I mean, watching this team play basketball, it's like when you're in a relationship and you're forcing like the "what are we" conversation. Like every time they're out there, like what are we? Like you know what you want, what they want to be, but it just never it's never the same. Like night in and night out. The foundation is there. Like you've got a good feeling of what the end result is, but there just appears to be quite a disconnect of what they are, what they want to be, what they want to do, and it's been the story of the season.
Yeah. What do you think? Like if there is an answer or if there's something that this team, we're talking about offensively, because we know defensively it's pretty cut and dry, right? They can execute a plan. They just have to do it. Mm-hmm. Offensively, that's when you get into the question of what is the plan and what do you think the best course of action is for this group with the pieces that they have right now offensively on a best case scenario on a given night. What does that look like on offense for Nebraska basketball right now?
I mean, I'd like to see more set plays. And there was an uptick of them. I felt like when they had that little 4-game winning streak, the 2 games on the road, they were running some more designed action, less of the dribble handoff stuff, for guys at the top of the key. And it's kind of been a mixed bag since then. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing more set plays to get good shots for the guys you want, especially from the outside. There's been a lot of discourse over what's a good shot and what isn't a good shot today as well. I would like to see, maybe not. I mean, I know they want to, be NBA, read and react, that sort of thing. But I mean, if you're, you need a tourniquet of sorts to, stop the bleeding. I'd, drop a set play to, get a good look.
Yeah, clearly you got to kind of rein them in a little bit, right? I love the idea of freedom. And I love the idea of, like you just said, Jacob, having guys go out there and making reads and playing free and all that stuff. But I don't know, this group in particular, it just feels like they need structure. And that's probably a little bit due to the personalities, a little bit due to the personnel that they have. But I just don't think I just think structure is a really good word for this group right now and something that they could use, both offensively, defensively, and, with the effort that they bring on a night to night basis.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think back to, and I don't want to, it's not definitely not apples to apples, but I think about, there were points last year where it felt like whether it was a sideline out of bounds or a baseline, like they'd draw something up to get a good look for like CJ Wilcher. And you could tell like they needed, something just to, rein it in a little bit. Like let's draw something up, get a guy who's a capable shooter, a look from three. And it's not, it's not like freestyle, Casey quest to find a wild shot
nice.
is going to end up, going in. Just settle down, take a deep breath, draw something up, something like that.
You've been at a lot of those type of games before at Pinnacle Bank Arena. Where does last night rank as far as not just Nebraska? Like both teams are sucked completely into the mud. They're fighting to get out of the quicksand. Anything they could possibly do to get buckets on offense, and they can't get them. Where does that one rank in what you've seen in that building over the last 10 years?
I mean, I think it's a close race between that game and the Cincinnati 55-54 double overtime game.
Beautiful.
That was I felt like that was the path that we were, going down last night. Like no one's going to make shots and this game's just going to keep dragging. And it somehow miraculously ended in regulation. It felt like, we were headed maybe toward giving that game a run for its money last night. But I've seen some disgusting basketball in a myriad of ways, whether it be Big Ten, high school, anything since that building opened, and that was one of the more notable games that occasionally resembled what I'd like to call basketball. But yeah, that was pretty not easy on the eyes, to say the least.
How do you get? I mean. Well, first of all, let's ask you this. What did you think about the way that they played the last 12-ish seconds of that game last night?
Yeah, I've went back and I've watched like that whole sequence, and I guess I was so locked in on the end of the floor where the free throws taking place, I didn't realize that Wolf was back. I was so I was tunnel visioned down and at the other end, and that is a big brain move by Dusty May to just be like, hey Danny, you're going back there just in case. And they wound up being pretty, I think that definitely played a part. And in theory you clean open look for the guy who's shooting 39% from three on the year, with the game on the line is a pretty good look. I think it didn't. I mean, I'm fine with it now. In the moment, I felt like with the way that game was going, like putting a 3 up down 1 was not, what I would have wanted to do. But I mean, it's just kind of, you can see Sam Hoiberg in the clip pointing at Connor, almost like telling.
Yeah, it's like, this is it.
Ball.
Yeah.
And like there's the look, that's the guy. And that's what they wound up with. I have mixed, thoughts on it. But all things considered, there wasn't much of any offensive flow or rhythm going on in that game at all. So it's tough to say anything too concrete about decisions offensively last night.
Agreed. And it also, like the other option, you just said there wasn't a whole lot of flow going, and all those. There was a timeout there in the pocket. You could have maybe pulled it out, reset, and then tried to get something for Brice coming out of that, or just reset and, trusted everybody to kind of get their crap in order in the final 8 seconds and get the last shot of the game. Like, then they would have, it would have been, I don't know that there was a definite right answer in that scenario. That's why I'm not too fired up about the shot that they did get, which was a good look.
Yeah, absolutely. And hindsight's always 20/20, right? And maybe it says like what I think about Brice Williams as a basketball player, that in that moment I'd want your all league guy to go be an all league guy, and whether he can't draw the foul or not. Wolf had 4, so if you had
4 for a while.
Yeah, he had 4 for a while, and if this is what that's just the way my weirdo brain works. I'm like, you're the alpha. You're the only guy who's got it going. Their guy who they have posted down there, he's got 4. Like, try to go make something happen. But that's it. Hindsight's always 20/20.
What do you think? I guess how do you how do you feel about this group question is very different from the outlook nowadays, because I don't think people feel very good about it right now, coming off of a couple losses in a row and especially dropping 46 points at home last night. But what's the outlook is, there's a lot of there's still some opportunity out there for Nebraska, and you're still on pace to be in the NCAA tournament. Like, I guess how do you feel about this group now, and what do you feel like the outlook is?
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way about this group that I feel like I've felt about it for the last 2 months at least. I mean, it's a game by game thing. You know what they're capable of. You know what their recipe is to winning games, and it's just it's all the intangibles, and it's all the little stuff. The thing that Nebraska has going forward in this last three is there isn't there isn't some like Death Star or wood chipper type team waiting for you. No buzzsaw right now. That you've got a team that's right on the bubble with you in Ohio State, who they got Ohio State, I believe, has Nebraska and Indiana, who has played its way back into bubble consideration left. I forget who else Ohio State has left, but then Minnesota and Iowa. I mean, those games are in your building. I know you've dropped 3 at home this year, but they're both weekend home games. Nebraska fans always talk about how they don't have home games on the weekend. You got 2 of them to end the season. Afternoon tips against Minnesota and Iowa. I mean, your opportunities are still out there in front of you. The heat of the moment of last night. Obviously, it stings. Obviously, it's like, what the hell did I just watch? That's 2 hours of my life I'll never get back. But you've still got everything that you could possibly want this time of year to play for, and still out in front of you with 3 games to go.
Does it feel hard to believe that Connor Essegian is shooting 39% from 3? Like, it
absolutely does.
Anecdotally, that does not compute with me. And I don't know, because somebody said it last night, and they're like, yeah, Essegian's a 40% 3-point shooter. I'm like, okay, maybe, I get it. He's got a track record. He's got a reputation of a guy who makes 3. But no, he actually was shooting 40% from 3. I just felt like that was wrong for whatever reason.
No, I did too. It definitely did not compute when I first heard it. And then, looking at the stats once they got updated today, I was like, oh wow, with his volume too. I'm like, that's a pretty, compared to some of the 3-point shooting clips we've seen in Nebraska in recent years, that's pretty good, all things considered. To see that. But yeah, I'm right there with you. It definitely did not compute when I first heard it.
He is as good of a 3-point shooter right now with more volume than CJ Wilcher had last year. They're basically the exact same percentage, 39%, and Essegian has taken 40 more threes this year than Wilcher did all of last year. Looking at it right now, yeah, right around that number.
Wow,
hard to believe.
That is hard to believe. And like, the thing with Essegian is there are games where when he's out there on the floor, I mean, their spacing looks completely different with him on the floor. That's first and foremost. When he's not out there, it's so bunched up and jumbled up. But he can space out your team, space out the defense. But there are times where he's out there, it's like, are they trying to have him as the Wilcher role, or is he trying to freestyle? Like
this is where
he's just running around. Like, it's just like, what is the ideal role for him? With Fred Hoiberg's offenses, I always compare roles to just dudes. I'm just like, you got to be your ideal role is this guy, because he had a role and he did it well. But that's the biggest thing for me with the season, and part of why hearing that clip didn't compute at first ear.
It's also, I mean, it's not really his fault. I mean, this is where the personnel conversation comes into play. Last year Wilcher was you could make a case he wasn't in the top 5 options scoring. You had Tominaga, you had Brice, you had Mast, you had Gary, you had Jamarcus Lawrence. All those guys were scoring for you last year, and Wilcher, whatever you got from him sort of felt like a bonus. And where Essegian feels like that kind of player, but he's like the third. He has to be the third option basically on this team. which that kind of shows you exactly the situation they're in right now.
Absolutely. I mean, I've said a lot about the lack of like the playmaking big guy, but yeah, also just having like one. I mean, you got one guy who's like a shooter. You got one guy who, if it was a small high school gym and he's checking in, you could hear the entire bench yelling "shooter" whenever he gets the ball, and that's Connor Essegian. And that's there'll be plenty. Yeah, we could talk at length about personnel for sure, but that's just one example of it.
Okay, Jacob. Well, we'll let you go. Appreciate the time as always. Hopefully the remaining 2 at Pinnacle Bank Arena don't give you as much indigestion as last night did.
Oh, well, Minnesota is 0 for 10 all time at Pinnacle Bank Arena. It remains one of my favorite stats to share that I will share until it isn't true anymore, is that the last time Minnesota won a basketball game in Lincoln was at the Devaney Center when they were coached by Tubby Smith and Nebraska was coached by Doc Sadler. Yeah. That's how long it's been since Minnesota has won a game in this state. But I appreciate the time like always, Hap, and we'll be in touch soon. Have a good show. Good rest of the week.
All right. There's Jacob Bigelow of Huskers Illustrated and the Stretch Big Pod doing various post-game shows on various clubs and networks and things like that. The I-80 Club.
That's the thing. I can watch the game and flush it almost immediately. He's got to sit in it.
Yeah.
For hours afterwards.
It's tough.
Making content.
So the last time that the Minnesota Golden Gophers won a basketball game.
Yeah, what was the world like?
In Lincoln. Well, just to give you, he gave you some pretty good context right now, right there. Like he said, they were coached by Tubby Smith, and Nebraska was coached by Doc Sadler. Here's some more context. That was Nebraska's first year in the Big Ten.
Ooh.
First. One.
B1G.
Yeah. And the logo was gigantic at the Bob Devaney Sports Center. So better hope that streak doesn't end on Saturday. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. Isn't that some, like, I don't know. Maybe, I guess it totally makes sense. It mirrors my thoughts on this team. I look at the numbers, as a collection. And I'm like, okay, yep. All that stuff for Brice makes sense. Jawan is less than a 30% three-point shooter, but, is a good defender. And, Berkay and all that stuff, just their numbers reflect how I feel about them during games. Connor Essegian's don't. Connor Essegian has made 39% of his three-pointers this year with 164 three-point shot. He's 64 for 164 this year. And if you would have asked me and I didn't know the number, or I hadn't looked at the number in several weeks, hey, what's Connor Essegian shooting from 3 on the season? What do you think? I would have said, I don't know, probably 33, 34%, something like that. He's almost a 40% three-point shooter. He's one of the most prolific three-point shooters that Nebraska's had over the last, over their time being in the Big Ten. They've only had a few go over 40% at that volume. 40% is a great number, right? But once again, he has to make shots every night because he's basically their third scoring option if Berkay's not giving you anything on offense. It's Brice and it's Gary, and then it's probably some combination of Essegian and Berkay. Once again, if you're thinking about the Wilcher role from last year, Wilcher was like whatever you got from Wilcher was just it was the cherry on top with Tominaga and Brice and Mast and Gary and Jamarcus Lawrence, and all those guys were kind of scoring for you last year. And then the Wilcher role came in. You're like, wow, damn, it's nice to have a 40% three-point shooter behind all those guys.
Yeah.
And at this point, you're looking at it, you're like, okay, we got a 40% three-point shooter behind what? It's nice to have a 40% three-point shooter, don't get me wrong, but oftentimes he gets the, and deservedly so. If Nebraska's going to win games, he's got to probably make 3, 4 threes, right? They just need scoring from other pieces that aren't named Brice Williams at this point. All
buckets.
Right. Yep, they need buckets indeed. All right, we'll be back. Still a couple other things left to cover. Want to hear from you guys as well. I think we're out of giveaways today, so that's good. Congratulations to our winners.
Yeah,
on this show.
Bad for the audience
on this show anyway. But Speaking of giveaways, actually, here's a reminder. The Zone deal this week is a $50 voucher to Exarban Cinema and ACX Cinema 12. Only for movie concessions. Half off deal. You get $50 in vouchers. You only have to pay $25. And you know all the things that you could get at the concession stand at the movie theater, Josh.
Soft pretzel, nachos, popcorn.
Candy. You could get a bunch of popcorn for $50 worth in vouchers.
Here's my gift card. Here's my voucher.
Go
Please
to town.
Give me a garbage bag full of popcorn.
Give me whatever you'd like. Go ahead. Pick a few things off the shelf. That could be you. King of the castle.
Oh, you want those sour Skittles, kid? Yeah, throw them on there.
Why don't you put 3 of them on there?
Twizzlers, go for it.
That's you at the movies. So you can get the Zone deal on Friday at 9 at 1620thezone.com, or you can listen on Sportsmanlike Conduct this week for a chance to win it for free.
You want a gallon of root beer? Go for it.
Pile it on. Why not? Zone deal on sale Friday at 9, 1620thezone.com. I can't hear exactly what song they're doing downstairs. Well, they're just getting ready, right? It starts at 2.
Yeah.
The people are waiting outside. It's Papa Roach.
Roach heads.
They're roaching all over the place.
Don't leave those roaches in our parking lot either, by the way.
How many Papa Roach songs can you name, Josh?
Oh, I could probably name quite a few.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Give me a shot.
All right. Gosh, this is going to go embarrassingly bad now. Last Resort.
You got it. That was the one I was just singing.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Between Angels and Insects.
Wow. Don't know what that is, but yes, that is a song.
That was a single off that same album.
You know about the Papa Roach albums?
Yeah,
All right.
here's the thing. I'm of music too, but I'm not a braggadocious
You're
about
a Papa
it.
Roach, okay.
Um,
Come on, you got the biggest one.
Scars.
You got it. You got it.
I had that album. There were some other songs on that album.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember any of them. The song with Carrie Underwood.
Okay. I don't think that counts. So you got 2.5. Good job. Or 3.5.
I got 3.5.
3.5. Good job. You win. You win.
I probably hit the over, right? What would you set the line at?
I would have set it pretty low. My music expectations for you are actually quite low.
Thank you.
To be honest with
I
you.
also listen to songs as a little treat, but I'm not all braggadocious about it.
I have high expectations for you, like as a person, but I have low expectations for you as for music.
Thank you. Broken Home. That's the one I was trying to think of. I knew there were 3 songs off of that first album. Couldn't think of the other one.
Okay.
Getting Away with Murder. That was another. One of these is like To Be Loved. That was the theme song to Monday Night Raw for like 7 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure I've heard all those, but don't know what they were called.
Kicking the Teeth. I know that one.
Today there's a big meeting. Big meeting, Josh.
Yeah, downstairs. Papa Roach.
Not that one.
Oh, sorry.
They'll be deciding the future of college football today. Yes, that's
whole
right.
Future?
Will it be dead or will they be allowed to continue on?
So what do we think, guys? Have we done enough?
Are we doing this? Seriously, that would be great if somebody walked into the meeting and they were like, all right, I got a stick of dynamite. You want to blow this thing?
I think we're done here, guys. Who wants to hit the plunger?
Come on. We can auction it off. Decision makers declared, this is from Brandon Marcello of CBS Sports, decision makers declared the first year of the 12-team playoff a rousing success, but tweaks are coming, and 2 powerful voices are equipped to get what they want as soon as next fall. The question is whether the Big Ten and the SEC will have the unanimous support required when the CFP's 10 FBS conferences in Notre Dame meet today at a hotel inside Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. The hotel airport is the place where the future of college football is being decided.
No, you got to do this in a conference room at a hotel.
Yep.
Not the
It's hotel
Oh.
airport. Airport hotel.
This is a quick meeting.
That's right. You can just get back on the plane and go straight home. Or if they'll make their intentions known and wait until 2026 when an agreement among CFP members shifts voting power heavily in favor of the 2 most influential conferences in college sports. Basically, what we're telling you here is today we're going to find out how aggressive the Big Ten and the SEC are with waving around their wands and telling everybody to do stuff. We're gonna find out how aggressive they are. It is widely expected that the thing that will actually functionally come out of this meeting today is they will address the seeding for next year's playoff. There's been a recognition that they may be able to get unanimous support on changing the seeding structure for next year's college football playoff. But then the expectation is that the Big Ten and the SEC are going to dip their toe in the water and say, well, we've told you about, you may have heard some things about us wanting 4 teams each guaranteed in the field every year. You've sat with it. You've swished it around in your mouth a little bit. Thoughts? They either say that or we're doing this, whether you like it or not, and whether we get approval or not, you will do this.
We will give you a lifeline and you will say, thank you, sir.
Yeah. So look forward to some college football reporters reporting this afternoon.
A lot of Pete tweets.
There'll be some Pete tweets. There'll be some Ross Dellingers. There will be
Pickle,
some Brett McMurphy.
Sure.
Now, the Pickle Man only does takes.
Oh, okay.
He only does takes.
Should we cover this event?
Do you want to go to the Dallas-Fort Worth airport right now?
It wouldn't be my first choice, but is this something we need to be boots on the ground for?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No. They will emerge from this random meeting room at this hotel, and then there will be 4 reporters there'll be more than that, but there will be some reporters asking them questions about what happened, and they're like, we only want to talk to Pete Thamel. Thank you very much.
When the white smoke comes out of the top of the Dallas
touchy
Fort Worth
subject.
airport. Just saying. Prepare yourselves.
Greg in Myrtle Beach has a take. Speaking of takes.
Hello, Greg.
It's not about college football and the future of college football and whether it's dead or not. But he says, it's hard to imagine any, all caps, college squandering more money on lousy, all caps, in-game coaching in critical, all caps, spots by ex-professional coaches. Rule and Hoiberg are stealing money, and their film proves it.
Whoa. Come on.
Greg in Myrtle Beach says, check the tape, MF. You ever think about checking the tape, Josh? Those guys are stealing cash.
Once.
Those guys are stealing money. Shaving points.
They would never.
No.
For the record.
They wouldn't.
Fred Hoiberg took a 41-41 Chicago Bulls team to the playoffs.
Yeah, and if not for Rondo getting hurt, they would have won.
Definitely.
Not for those damn kids. They would have beat the Celtics in that series if Rondo wouldn't have got hurt, right? That was the whole, if I remember that correctly. Josh,
I don't remember.
I've frozen Josh with a factoid.
I don't remember.
The factoid.
They did play the Bulls.
Yeah, they were up 3-1 in the series,
wow.
right?
Well, Boston won it 4-2, so I'm going to guess not.
Okay, never mind. But Rondo got hurt.
Okay.
Rondo got hurt, and because Rondo was on the Bulls.
Okay. This was the first time in a best-of-7 series that an 8 seed went up 2-0 against a 1 seed in the first round.
3-1, 2-0, same bleeping thing.
Sure. Yeah.
And did it say about whether Rondo got hurt?
It doesn't say, but I would imagine that to be true. I got a little confused because I consider Rajon Rondo to be a Celtic.
Yeah, well, he was a lot of things.
He was a lot of things
during his career. All right, that's what's going on in college football today. Here's what's happening in your neck of the woods. It's called the Poll Question, so we'll tell you what to watch next on 1620 The Zone. right, to the polls at Happer Show on the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed.
We've done a couple over the last 24 hours.
Yeah, we had a couple yesterday afternoon, so let's get to those. Have you ever been to Olive Garden by yourself? So I have a secret, Josh. I have a confession.
Oh?
Yesterday, what I failed to mention in the crossover is that I, at one point, had the never-ending pasta pass.
Connor!
I kind of forgot about it for a couple minutes, and then I was like, you know what? It's too late in this conversation for me to derail the entire thing. But I did have the never end. I won the lottery once, and I paid something. I think it was $50 or whatever, and I got the never ending pasta pass. So when I was telling people that they wouldn't, when I was telling Nick that he would never use it as much as he thinks, I was speaking from experience. I used it once.
What a revelation!
To Olive Garden by myself one time.
Well, I got it. I'm paying for the pass.
83% say no, they've never been to Olive Garden by themselves.
Great response from Alyssa, who works in the building with us. You can't go to Olive Garden alone because when you're there, you're family.
Exactly. That is true. Great point. Would Connor Happer be the kind of guy who likes a turnkey ignition?
Yeah, absolutely. But you prefer the push button.
But I do. I can surprise people every once in a while. 89% say yes. That's kind of all right. You guys got me.
Someone was in their car this morning going, yeah, Connor definitely is like, give me a turnkey.
Yeah, you guys got me. And those are our polls. Josh, what are we watching tonight?
We are watching hoops. So many great options to choose from.
That sounds sarcastic.
8 o'clock on ESPN2. The SEC is very good. Number 24, Mississippi State, is at number 6, Alabama. At that same time on FS1, you can watch Iowa and Illinois. That's right. NBA, more hoops. 6:30 tip on TNT, True TV, and Max. It is the Cleveland Cavaliers at the Orlando Magic. That's a 1-7 matchup in the East right now if the season ended today.
Okay.
So
yeah, that's right. But that doesn't.
But 7 would be in the play-in tournament,
right.
So you don't know how it would shake out. And then Mavericks at the Lakers, Colin Cowherd, 9 o'clock tip out in La La Land. This is Luka versus his old team.
That's right. Luka's fat.
I've heard rumblings. NHL on Hulu at 6:30. Oilers at the Lightning. The third installment of the Venom trilogy has made its way to Netflix. Eddie and Venom are on the run and face a devastating decision. What a synopsis!
How they get one guy named Venom and the other guy named Eddie?
Well,
that's a tough look for Eddie.
Well, Eddie Brock is the newspaper reporter that Venom finds his way into.
Is Venom just a guy, or is he like a snake or something?
Venom is a symbiote. He's a comic book character.
Okay.
Like Spider-Man has Peter Parker.
Okay.
Iron Man has Tony Stark. Venom has Eddie Brock.
Oh, so it's one person.
It's one person, but they have like split personalities because sometimes Venom,
is it a Severance situation? It's like an outie Venom and an innie Venom?
A lot less confusing.
All right.
And finally, on AMC tonight, Connor, at 7 o'clock, it's Tom Hanks. It's a plane movie, and it has the Tennessee Titans. It has to be Castaway.
Castaway! It could have been any movie after the first two descriptions that you listed, but then when you mentioned the Tennessee Titans, it's Castaway.
That's why I did it.
I would watch Castaway tonight. There's some other actual good college basketball games, though, that you didn't mention.
Really?
So the Ken Pom scores.
What's the little Ken Pom thing you say?
Gonzaga, Santa Clara tonight, 10 o'clock, CBS Sports Network.
Was I supposed to tell people about that?
I mean, that's number one thrill score of the day, Josh. Gonzaga at Santa Clara.
Okay. Tough road environment at the Levy Center.
Baylor, Cincinnati.
That's on
1620 the zone.
That's on 1180.
1180
the
the zone.
Begins at 5:45.
Yep, and it has a very normal logo attached to it on our graphic.
That's right.
Florida and Georgia is tonight.
They meet at the Line at 6 o'clock.
New Mexico State, San Diego State.
I didn't want to waste the audience's time with
What? These are awesome games. 10 o'clock. The 10 o'clock slate is loaded tonight.
The 10 o'clock slate is loaded?
Yes.
There are 2 games at 10 o'clock.
That's as good as you're going to get for West Coast basketball at 10 o'clock.
Okay, that's true.
New Mexico, San Diego State, Gonzaga, Santa Clara. Those are dreams.
I mean, absent of a Gonzaga St. Mary's matchup.
Right.
Sure.
Right. So college basketball is always there for us. Thank you, college basketball. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
That's what we're watching today. That's the show. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. The crossover is next.